Hello and welcome to the Advanced Foundations of Python Programming 2021 training course. In this course, we are gonna explore the advanced foundations of Python programming language step by step from the ground up. This training course is so powerful. We are gonna dive deeply into the advanced foundations and concepts of the Python programming language. Also direct to the point, interactive, and will save your precious and valuable time. And this course is carefully designed for you. And for each advanced concept in this course, you will understand it theoretically and practically with real examples, many examples in this course to clarify each concept in detail. So, do you want to advance your Python development career? Do you want to create real Python programs using advanced foundations and concepts of modern Python programming? If your answer is yes for these questions, then in this case, this course is designed for you. By the end of this course, you will learn many advanced concepts, starting from advanced collections like name tuples, default dictionary, counters, order dictionary, and also queues and dequeues. All that and more, theoretically and practically with real examples. Then you will learn and master the advanced functions for zipping, unzipping, evaluating Python expressions, also for memory view, mapping objects with the lambda function, the advanced lambda function, enumerating objects and executing Python expressions easily with the advanced functions concepts. And in the next section, you will learn about args and quarks in detail to pass arbitrary or variable number of arguments into the function body. You will see how to use args and quarks in detail with real examples. Also, you will master all about iterators and iterable objects in Python programming language from the ground up to iterate over sequences using different techniques with tips and tricks. Also, I'll show you in this section how to build an iterator from the ground up. You will learn to build custom iterator using functional programming concepts and also object-oriented programming concepts easily and simply. In the next section, you will learn and understand the generator functions from the ground up with many yield statements also instead of using the return statements, and also mastering how to use the generator expressions to save your time shortly and in a concise way. The next one, you will learn meta classes in Python programming language. You will learn how to use built-in meta classes, and also you will build custom meta class from the ground up. After that, we are gonna explore decorators in Python programming language. Before starting with decorators in this section, we are gonna start with a simple overview about functional programming. Then we are gonna explore how to decorate a function in detail, theoretically and practically, using the regular way and also the best way to do that, the most popular way and the most useful way to do that using the @ symbol or the @ character. After discussing and practicing decorators in Python programming language, we will explain in detail the comprehension techniques for list comprehension, dictionary comprehension, set comprehension, and also for the weird part here, which is the tuple comprehension. We are gonna explain and practice all of that in detail step by step, theoretically and practically also. After that, you will learn logging in Python programming language. I will show you how to build a logger in Python programming language to indicate the problems for your program, to store what will happen for your program inside a file, inside a logging file. Finally, you will learn to use the calendar library from Python libraries to create custom calendar with different ways. I will show you the power of this calendar library in detail. Now it's time to talk about the requirements to take this course. The first requirement to take this course is the Python programming language basics like variables, data types, data structures, control flow using conditional statements and loops, also functions and object-oriented programming concepts like classes and objects. This is the first requirement to take this course. And the second requirement to take this course is the working environment or any IDE you use. In this course, I will use the Jupyter Notebook. You can download and install it, or you can use any working environment for Python programming language you wish. Who this course is for? This course is for any Python beginner who knows the basics of Python programming language. Also, any intermediate Python developer should take this course to master the advanced concepts about Python programming language. And also this course is for anyone who wants to master, understand, and practice the advanced foundations and concepts of the modern Python programming language in no time. My name is Ahmed Ibrahim, and I'll be the instructor for this course. And if you have any questions during this course, please ask me and I'll answer you as soon as possible. And once you complete this course, you will get the certificate of completion, and you can easily upload the certificate of completion to your LinkedIn profile or any career profile to advance your dev career. Thank you so much for watching. Creating tuples in Python programming language by using named tuple. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about named tuple in Python programming language. Named tuples in Python allow you to create tuples and assign meaningful names to the positions of the tuples elements or items. And you can say that named tuple is a subclass of class tuple. And you can use the named tuple in Python programming language to add property names to the positional elements or items in a tuple. They are easy to create and also lightweight object types. Named tuple is a container, and you can use this named tuple by importing it from the collections module. What is the collections module? Collections is a built-in module in Python programming language, and it is used to provide different types of containers like named tuple, default dict, and many more. It's very useful. And to use the named tuple, you must import it first using from collections import named tuple, and after that you can use it without any problems. You can use the named tuple by calling the named tuple function after importing it, and it has two parameters. The first one is called type name, and the second parameter that will be passed into the function called named tuple is the field names. Let's see all of that in action to clarify all the concepts. At the beginning, our first statement is importing the named tuple container using the collections module. As you can see, from collections import named tuple. The from keyword first, followed by the name of the built-in module collections, followed by the import keyword from the Python library, followed by the name of the container or the function needed, which is named tuple. Now you can create named tuple in Python programming language using the named tuple function. Exactly as in this example here, we call that function and it has two parameters, as you can see. The first one, point to D, this is the type name, and the second one, fields names X and Y inside a list. And we want to set a value for X and also set a value for Y. We assign this operation, we assign the named tuple operation or function to a variable called point to D. Let's set a value for X and a value for Y also. You can use the variable name, as you can see, point to D referring to the named tuple operation, and set 50 as a value for X and 100 as a value for Y in order, as you can see, inside the round braces of the point to D. and we assign that to a variable called new point to use this variable name after that if needed. By typing the variable name, as you can see, new point, or printing out the new point, you will see point 2D and the value of x 50 and the value of y is 100. Inside a tuple, as you can see, x is equal to 50, then comma, then y is equal to 100. It's so easy, as you can see. In this example, by using the name tuple function, we created point2D class, as you can see, and the value of x is equal to 50 and the value of y is equal to 100. And also you should know that the name tuple also can accept fields names as a tuple of string or strings, not only lists like in this example. In this example, we inserted the field names inside a list. You can use a tuple instead of using a list in this example inside around the braces of the name tuple as a second parameter or a second argument for the name tuple function easily. You can do this by yourself, and if you need any help, please ask me and I'll answer you as soon as possible. In our example here, the new point object is an instance of the point2D class we created. So in this example, we used the isInstance to check that. The isInstance function is used to return true if the specified object is of the specified type. The first parameter of the isInstance function is the new point, is the object, and its type is point2D. In this case, is equal to true because point2D is a tuple, and also for the next one, new point object type is tuple, and the output is true. In this case, a boolean value also. A named tuple in Python programming language is a regular tuple. Therefore, you can apply all the tuple operations on a named tuple also. For example, for that named tuple we created called new point, you can perform slicing operation, indexing operation, unpacking operation, and many more. For example, here we used the new point and we set the new point named tuple to two variables x and y, and the print function to print out this output of this formatted string, and the first placeholder for x, the second placeholder inside the formatted string for y. And you can see the output, the named tuple is unpacked, as you can see simply. The value of x is equal to 50 and the value of y is equal to 100. Also, you can use indexing using the index numbers. As you can see, x is equal to new point, the first item that has the index 0, y is equal to new point, the second item that has the index 1, and we used the print function after that to print out x and y inside round the braces inside the formatted string. We used the index numbers in this case to insert these items inside a tuple by using the placeholders for x and y inside the formatted string surrounded by round braces for a tuple. You know, tuple is an iterable object, so you can iterate over a tuple. You can iterate over the new point tuple using the for loop. For item in new point, we started the for loop using the for keyword followed by a variable, and that variable will represent the first item in the tuple. Then after displaying the first item or the variable called item will represent the second item, and this is the last item, so the program will break after 100 in this case. And the print function you can see inside the for loop to print out item. You can name it any name instead of item if you wish. You can call it, for example, I, N, var, or anything you wish. There is an important argument for name tuple function, and this argument is called rename. And that rename argument allows you to rename invalid field names in name tuples. We have another example here. The type name in this case is new circle, and the field names center X, center Y, and radius. And the name tuple in this case has an argument called rename, and its value is true in this case. If you use the rename argument, as in this example, the name tuple function automatically renames the radius, the underscore radius, to a valid field name. So you will not get any error here. And for this example, to find the field names of this name tuple we created called new circle, you can use in this case the fields class property to do that. Exactly as you can see, the name of the tuple or the name of the name tuple new circle refers to the name tuple followed by the dot notation followed by underscore fields to get the fields names for this name tuple easily, and the print function to print out the output, and you can see the fields names inside a tuple. The first item is center X, the second item is center Y, and the last item for the radius. And in Python programming language, the name tuple function changes the radius, the underscore radius field, to underscore 2 automatically. Thank you so much for watching. The default dict subdivision in Python programming language. Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson about the default dict to create a dictionary in Python programming language. The default dict from the collections module is a subclass of the dictionary class. It's a submodule of the dict class. And the default dict function from the collections module is used to provide a default value for the key that doesn't exist. The default dictionary never raises a key error. You will not see a key error in the output if you use the default dict instead of using the regular dictionary. For regular dictionaries in Python programming language, if you want to access a key or a keyword that doesn't exist inside the dictionary, you will get the key error. So to solve this problem, you can use the default dict function from the collections module. You must import it first using the statement from collections import default dict to import the default dict function from the collections module, and that module called collections provides some useful containers like default dict in this case, and also order dict and many more. This is a useful module, a useful built-in module from the Python library, and the syntax for the default dict function, you can call it only by using its name, and you can see the parameter will be the default factory. What is the meaning of the default factory? It's a function returning the default value for the dictionary defined. Let's see all of that in action. You can see here we have an example, and this example shows a simple dictionary we created called new dict. This is the special name for that dictionary. You can insert or you can call it any valid name you wish, and we used the dict built-in function to create an empty dictionary here. And you can see in this case, if you want to access the key called for or the key for from inside the dictionary, you will get key error. This key doesn't exist inside the dictionary here. This is about using the normal dictionary. But if you try to use the default dict, you can solve this problem. You can get the default value. Let's modify this by using the default dict function. Let's solve this problem. You can see our first statement in this case is from collections import default dict. To import this container from the collections module, you must import it first. After that, we used the default dict function, and it has a single parameter which is int. We passed int as the data type to the default dict inside the round braces of the default dict function, and we assign that to a variable called new default dict. And if you want to access the key for from inside this default dict, you will get 0 in this case, not a key error like the previous example. Like in the previous example, any key that doesn't already exist in the default dict called new default dict here in this example will be assigned a value of 0, as an output, as in this example here, unless a value is defined for it. Let's take another example to clarify the using of the default dect function. At the beginning, don't forget to import the default dect, or you can use from collections import default dect only one time at the beginning of this notebook and run it. Then you can use this default dect many times after that. You can see after that we created new default dect variable and we assign the default dect function to this variable we created, and it has a simple parameter, in this case single parameter, which is set, and we used the add built-in function to add items to each key inside this default dect to create a dictionary. The first item will be 5. The value for the first key will be 5 and 5 as a string data type, then comma, then another 5 which is integer number data type. This is a set. This set is the value of 5. Then in the output you can see 10 and its value is 10 integer number and 10 string data type, and you can see 15 and its value is an empty set because we set this empty key, this empty item here inside the default dect. 15 is an empty key. You can use the default dect like this example, and you can see the same key has two different values, string data type and also integer number inside a set. We added these items to the default dictionary using the add built-in function by calling it, and you can insert or you can pass the value for each key as a parameter for the add built-in function, and the default factory or the function is set to create a set inside the parentheses or inside the round braces of the default dictionary, and you can see each value is inside a set in the output as you can see, and you can create a key with an empty value without any value like 15 in this example. The default dect is so powerful. And also in this example you can notice that we used the dect built-in function to set all the items inside a dictionary, and the print function to print out the result on the screen so easily. And you can do the same thing for list. You can set a list inside the braces or inside the round braces of the default dictionary or the default dect instead of using set. Let me show you that. You can see in this example we have list instead of using set. This is the parameter or the default factory of the default dect function. And after that we used the append function instead of using the add function to append items to this list. And you can see in the output, after printing out the dictionary we created using the dect built-in function, you can see all the output, and we used the dect built-in function to create a dictionary for these items. All the items are surrounded by curly braces as you can see. Key value pairs. The first key 5 and its value is a list of 2 items, integer number and string data type as you can see 5 and 5. And you can see in this case the value for the last item 15 is an empty list in this case. It's possible to do that by using the default dictionary without getting any error as you can see. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about counters in Python programming language. What is the definition of a counter in Python programming language? A counter simply is a subclass available inside the dictionary class in Python programming language. And simply by using the counter tool, you can count the key value pairs in an iterable object and also for any hash table object without any problems. In other words, you can say that Python counter is a container that will hold the count of each of the elements present in the container, And by using counters in Python programming language, you can count all the items in an iterable object like lists, tuples, dictionaries, and I'll show you all of that practically. And also you can count all the items for another counter. And the syntax for counters in Python programming language, as you can see, just calling the counter function, and inside the round braces of the counter built-in function, you can pass the iterable object to count all the items of this iterable object without any problems. It can be a list, can be a tuple, a dictionary, or any iterable object. And the counter built-in function is from the collections module from the Python library. Let's see all of that practically. We have the first example here. You can see our first step is importing the counter function, importing this container from the collections module. What is the collection module? A collection module in Python programming language provides different types of containers, like that container here called counter. And you can see after that we created an iterable object. This iterable object is a list of different items, of multiple items here called new list. We assign this list to a special variable called new list to use the name of the variable as a parameter inside the braces, inside the round braces of the counter built-in function. And after that, after calling the counter built-in function and its parameter is the new list, the iterable object, as you can see, and the print function to print out the output on the screen, you can see the output is a dictionary inside the counter method or the counter function. As you can see, this is our output here. This is a subclass from the dictionary class in Python programming language. B appears 4 times, so we got the value of B 4, and A appears inside this iterable object called new list 3 times, so the value of A is 3 in the output, and the count for C is 2. As you can see, the value of C is 2, and this is so easy. As you can see, you can do this without any problems. The count of each item from inside the new list, this iterable object, is inside a dictionary inside the counter method, as you can see, or the counter function in the output. The count for B is equal to 4, the count for A is equal to 3, and the count for C is equal to 2 inside the iterable object, inside the parameter of the counter function. String data type in Python programming language is an iterable object, also sequence of characters or collection of values. So you can use the counter to count the string characters, like in this example here, from collections import counter, or you can use this statement at the beginning of the Jupyter notebook one time only, but in this case we used it many times for each program. We used it for this program here, counter with string data type, and we created a string data type welcome to advanced foundations. This is a string data type. We assign this string data type to a variable name to use the variable name that belongs to this string data type. The variable name is called newstr, as you can see, and this is the parameter of the counter function. After that, we called the counter function and its parameter is the string data type welcome to advanced foundations. The variable name for this string data type inside the round braces of the counter built-in function, and the print function to print out the result on the screen. And you can see the output on the screen. The count for each item for this string data type welcome to advanced foundation is placed inside a dictionary inside the round braces of the counter function in the output. As you can see, O, the count of O is 4, so the value of O is 4. E, the value of E is equal to 3, and so on. You can see this is very simple. you can insert another string data type instead of using this string data type and see the difference in the output simply. Our first example is using the counter built-in function with a list. You can add another item to this list as in this example here, and you can see this in the output. You can see the count for the new item in the output also, and the counter container is updated as you can see in the output. This is another example here for using counter with a list with this iterable object list of items. We inserted D and the count of D is equal to 1. Dictionaries in Python programming language are collections or iterable objects also, so you can pass a dictionary as a parameter for the counter container or the counter built-in function. As in this example here, after importing the counter function from the collections module, you can see we created a dictionary called newDict, and it has 5 items as you can see, A, B, C, D and another D, all that inside the curly braces. This is the syntax of a dictionary, key value pairs inside curly braces. And after that we call the counter built-in function, and the parameter in this case the name of the dictionary, which is newDict, inside the round braces of the counter, and all that inside the round braces of the print function to print out the output for this operation on the screen. And you can see the output after hitting shift enter or shift return to run this cell to show the output without any problems. And you can see the output here. And dictionaries in Python programming language cannot include duplicates keys like in this example, so the output will be like that: D and its value is 4, then C and its value is equal to 3, B and its value is equal to 2, and the last one A and its value is equal to 1. This is our container here. Try to remove the last D from this dictionary and notice the difference between them by yourself. Tuples in Python programming language are iterable objects. So we have an example here, we have another example to use the counter built-in function with a tuple. We created a tuple as you can see: apple, banana, cherry, apple, apple, banana, fig, cherry, all that inside the round braces, the main syntax of a tuple in Python programming language. The name of the variable referring to this tuple is called newTuple, and we passed this tuple as a parameter into the counter function. Inside the round braces of the counter function, you can see the name of the tuple newTuple and the print function to print out the output on the screen. And you can see apple and the count of apple is equal to 3, banana and the count of banana inside the newTuple is equal to 2, cherry and the count of cherry inside the newTuple is equal to 2, and the last one fig, and the value of the fig key inside this dictionary inside the counter container is equal to 1. It's possible to create an empty counter container in Python programming language by using the counter built-in function and assign that to a variable, then use the variable name, and you can see an empty counter or an empty container. As you can see, it's a very simple process. You can create an empty container like that or an empty counter, and you can use the update method to add an iterable object to the container. Let me show you that in action. You can see here, by using the variable name referring to the counter built-in function, we used the update built-in function to insert or to pass hi Python iterable object or this string data type, this collection, as a parameter inside the counter built-in function. And you can see by hitting counting the name of the variable, you can see our container h and the counting of the h character 1, I, the counting of or the count of I character is equal to 1, and so on. This is so easy process, as you can see. Let's try another string data type. Hi, Python is fun. Now this is our string. Now by hitting shift enter or shift return to run this cell and run the counting cell after that, you will see our container is updated and the value of h now is equal to 2, the value of I or the count of I is equal to 3, all that inside a dictionary. The counter is a subclass of the class called dictionary in Python programming language, and you can see our counter container in the output here. You can create another string data type and use the update function to add this or to pass this as a parameter for the counter built-in function. Finally, if you want to delete an item from a counter or delete an item from this container, you can use the key name for the item that we want to remove. Exactly as in this example here, the del keyword to delete this item that has the key called D inside square brackets after the name of the dictionary or the name of the iterable object here, or the name of the variable referring to this iterable object. And you can see the item that has D as a key is deleted from the counter container simply. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Ordered dict in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. What is the meaning of the ordered dict? Ordered dict is a subclass of the class called dictionary, and it is used to maintain the insertion order or the order that keys were first inserted in the dictionary. Simply, when we iterate over an ordered dict, items are retained in the order they were inserted for this dictionary or this subdictionary. And the regular dictionary in Python programming language doesn't track the insertion order. So if you want to track the insertion order for the items, you have to use the ordered dict function from the collections module. You must import it first using this statement from collections import ordered dict. By importing the ordered dict function, you can use it to create an ordered dict in Python programming language to track the insertion order. Let's see all of that in action. You can see at the beginning here we have our statement from collections import ordered dict. We imported the ordered dict function using the import statement from the collections module, from this built-in module here. This is our container. We're gonna create ordered dict container using that function. Now this function is ready to use. First of all, this is a simple example to create a normal or a regular dictionary. This is a simple overview. Creating a dictionary in Python programming language is done by using curly brackets, and you can see key value pairs inside curly braces. And we assign that to a variable, this special variable name called new dict, and you can place any name or you can call it any valid name you wish. Try to put a descriptive name for the dictionary, and you can use the variable name new dict referring to this dictionary that has 3 items, apple, and its value is equal to 3. The first key name inside this dictionary is apple and its value is equal to 3. The second key name is banana. This is the second key and its value is equal to 7. And the last one, cherry, and its value is equal to 4. And to access the new dictionary or the new dictionary, use the name of the variable, the special variable, or this dictionary, and you will get the result exactly as in this example here. We got the same previous dictionary. Let's start using the ordered dict function from the collections module to create an empty ordered dictionary in Python programming language. You can see this example here. we assign the orderDict function by calling it to a variable. This variable name is called new orderDict, and you can use the print function to print out this new orderDict, as you can see, and you will get this empty order dictionary. So easy and so simple. You can use the previous dictionary called newDict, the previous regular dictionary, as a parameter for the orderDict function to create an order dictionary from a regular dictionary, exactly as in this example here. We created an order dictionary from the regular dictionary. As you can see, we call the orderDict function, and its parameter inside the round braces of that function is the newDict, the name of the regular or the normal dictionary you created that has 3 items previously. And the name of the variable name now is equal to new orderDict, and by printing out this new orderDict, you will get all the items, as you can see, inside an order dictionary or inside a container, exactly as you can see. Each item, as you can see, inside round braces, inside a tuple, and all the items are surrounded by square brackets. All the items are inside a list, as you can see, inside the container, and this is called the orderDict or the order dictionary in Python programming language. Now we have an orderDict called new orderDict, and you can add a new item to this orderDict. For example, here we want to add an item. The key name is equal to fig or is fig inside square brackets, as you can see, after the name of the order dictionary. As you can see, new orderDict followed by square brackets and fig inside square brackets surrounded by single quotes, or you can use double quotes, and the value is equal to 5. You can set any value you wish, and you can put any valid key name you wish to insert it inside the order dictionary. And we used the print function after that to print out the new orderDict, the order dictionary, after adding fig. And you can see fig and its value inside a new tuple inside our list, inside the container, inside the orderDict container or the order dictionary container in the output here. Also, you can replace an item inside this orderDict. You can replace an item, or you can replace the value of any item you wish or any key from inside the order dictionary, exactly as in this example. We changed the value of apple from 3 to 10. This is so easy, and by hitting Shift Enter or Shift Return to run the cell and printing out the new order dictionary after this operation, you can see the order dictionary is updated and the value of apple inside the first tuple is equal to 10. This is the new value for apple. To delete an item or to delete values from inside an order dictionary in Python programming language, you can use the pop method. As in this example here, we want to remove the item that has cherry as a key. We placed the name of the order dictionary followed by the dot notation followed by the calling of the pop method, and the parameter in this case, or the argument for the pop method, is the cherry, the key name, or you can set any key name you want to delete from inside the previous order dictionary. And the returned value from this operation is equal to 4, as you can see, the value of cherry. And if you try to print out the new orderDict after that, exactly as we did here, you will see cherry and its value are deleted from inside the orderDict. This tuple referring to the cherry item is deleted. And you can delete any item from inside the order dictionary using the same way. In that order dictionary, you can move an item to the beginning or to the end of the order dictionary using move to the end function. You can call it, and it has 2 parameters. The first parameter is required and the second parameter is optional. The second parameter is called last, and you can set it to false to move an item to the beginning of the order dictionary. but the first parameter is required, which is the item, the key name. As in this example here, the name of the ordered dictionary, new ordered dictionary, followed by the dot notation, followed by the calling of the move to end function, and you can see the required parameter is the key name. We set Apple in that case, so Apple, and you can take a look at the output. You will see Apple is moved to the end of the ordered dictionary simply after printing out the new dictionary after this operation. After running the cell for the move to end function and the cell for the print function to print out the new ordered dictionary after this operation, you will see the tuple of Apple at the end of the ordered dictionary. It's so powerful, as you can see. One more concept of using the ordered dictionaries in Python programming language, you can use a function, a built-in function called reversed function, and you can use it with the ordered dictionary to iterate elements in the reverse order. Like in this example, we used the for loop to iterate over the ordered dictionary you created called new ordered dictionary, and we set this as a parameter for the reversed function, and item will represent each element inside the ordered dictionary from the beginning to the end, from the first element to the last element. And we used the print function inside the body of the for loop to print item, and you can see the output here: apple, fig, banana. The last item apple, then the second last item fig, then the first item banana. The reversed function with the ordered dictionary function is used to iterate over the elements in the reverse order, like this example here. Queue in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about queue in Python. Queue is a built-in library in Python programming language, and you can use that library to create a list that uses the first in first out rule. You can create a list in Python programming language by using the queue function from the queue library, by using this statement from queue import the queue function from the queue library, and after that you can use the queue function to create a queue in Python. Queues are different from arrays and lists. Queues are not random access. The data stored in a queue in Python programming language has a particular order. So if you want to add an item or an element to a queue in Python, it will be added to the end. This is called first in, first out, or FIFO or FIFO. And if you want to get an item from a queue, you can use the get method or the get built-in function, and you will get the first inserted element in the queue. First of all, import the queue function from the queue library by using from queue import queue, as in this example here. After that, we created a list called waiting list, and we assign the queue function to this waiting list to create a queue by using this built-in function. Don't forget to put the empty braces or the empty round braces for the queue, and the print function to print out waiting list. As you can see, you will see the object at this reference or this address number for this queue. We are gonna insert items for this queue or this list by using a built-in function called put. The put built-in function is used to insert or put data into the queue, and in this example we added 4 items here. The first one is Ahmad, the second one is Ibra, the third one is called Marcelo, and the last one is called Joe. 4 items in the queue. The first one is Ahmad. As you can see, we used the put built-in function, then we used the elements as parameters or arguments for the put built-in function after the variable name called waiting list, referring to the queue built-in function. You know, queue in Python programming language uses first in first out, so the first in here is Ahmad. So if you want to get the items in order one by one, you will see the output in this case is Ahmad. The program will give you Ahmad, then Ibra, then Marcelo, and the last one is Joe. Let's use the get built-in function to do that by using the first in first out technique. You can see by calling the get built-in function for the waiting list only, by calling it without anything else after the name of the variable referring to the queue built-in function, you can see the first one is Ahmad, and this is the meaning of first in first out. First in is Ahmad, so first out using the get built-in function is Ahmad also. And if you try to use the get built-in function 3 more times, you will get Ibra, then Marcelo, then Joe, exactly as you can see. We used in this case the get built-in function. We called it 3 times also. In addition to the previous one, you will see Ibra, then Marcelo, then Joe in order, one by one. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. The queues in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about Python dequeue. You can create a list in Python programming language that uses the last in first out rule by using the dequeue function from the collections module. And that built-in module called collections provides many useful containers that you can use, like the queue that we are gonna use here. To use the dequeue function to create a dequeue or to create a list in Python, you must import it first from collections using that statement from collections import dequeue. You must import the dequeue function first at the beginning of the code, and after that you can use the syntax of the dequeue function using the dequeue name followed by the braces or the round braces of the dequeue function. That's it simply. Let's see all of that in action. We have an example here. Our first example here has the statement from collections import dequeue at the beginning. You must import the dequeue function first, and after that we used that function by calling it to create a dequeue or to create a list in Python programming language. This is a container. We assign this to a variable called waiting list, and by printing out waiting list you will see an empty dequeue or an empty container. Let's use the append built-in function to append items to this list, to this an empty list inside this dequeue or inside this container here. You can see waiting underscore list dot append Ahmad. This is the first element in the list or in the container. Then the append function again, we called it again, it's a built-in function to add Fred. This is the second element in order, and also the next one is Ronald, and the last one is called Ibrahim. We added this item inside the list, inside the container called dequeue here. And by using the print function to print waiting list, after that, after using the append function 4 times to add our 4 items, you will see this dequeue here. Inside the round braces of the container, you will see a list of 4 items, Ahmad, then Fred, then Ronald, and the last one is called Ibrahim. If you want to remove an item from the beginning of this list, from the left side, you can use pop left to remove Ahmad from the left side. We deleted Ahmad from the beginning of this list from the left side by using or by calling the pop left built-in function with waiting list, our dequeue name. Also, you can use the clear built-in function to clear the waiting list simply, as in this example here. We cleared this list or this dequeue, and you can see after typing waiting list, after clearing the waiting list, you can see inside the container or inside the dequeue we got an empty list. The dequeue is cleared. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Zipping and unzipping values in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about the zip function in Python programming language. This function is used to return a zip object, and in other words, this function will return iterator of tuples. And the syntax of the zip function in Python programming language, exactly as you can see, the zip function, you can call it using its name, zip, followed by braces, and you can place single iterator or two iterators or as many iterators as you wish inside the braces of the zip function, and separate between them using commas. And you don't need to construct that function from the ground up. Just call it by using its name followed by braces and place the iterators inside the braces of that function. And I'll show you that in real examples. Let's see all of that in action. We have a quick example here of using the zip function, and we used the for loop to iterate over the items of the iterators. The for loop using the for keyword followed by variable that will represent each item in the iterator, that will represent the first item in the iterator, and then keyword followed by the zip function. And you can see the zip function has two iterators in this case, or two iterable objects here. The first one is a list of numbers or a list of integer numbers from 1 to 3 inside square brackets, and after that another iterable object, three items of string data type. We separate between them using comma, all that inside square brackets, inside another square brackets, and we separate between the two lists using comma, as you can see inside the rounded braces of the zip function. And inside the indented body of the for loop, you can see the print function to print I, to print the variable that will represent each item in the iterator. And the output as shown here, three tuples. The first tuple is 1 and x, 1 from the first list, x from the second list, the first item from the first list and the first item from the second list inside a tuple. Then the same thing for the second item for the two lists inside another tuple, as you can see, 2 and y, then 3 and z, three tuples here. This is the result of using the zip function easily. It's a built-in function to give you an iterator of tuples like this example. And you can change the name of the variable from I to item, and also the values inside any list you wish, and you can put many iterators or many iterable objects inside the zip function, inside the braces of the zip function, but separate between them using comma and show the output. If you try to use the zip function without any arguments, you will see this empty iterator here, or this empty iterable object, and we created this set using the set built-in function, and this is the returning value of this zip function here. The zip function in this case returns an empty iterator, exactly as you can see. Let's try another example with a single parameter, a single iterable object inside the braces of the zip function. We have an example here. This example is for item in zip, and the zip function has a single parameter. This single parameter is iterable object, as you can see. This is a list of three items, 10, 20 and 30. All that inside square brackets inside the rounded braces of the zip function. Our variable name in this case is item, or you can name it any descriptive name you wish. You can name it n, y, x, anything you wish. And inside the indented body of the for loop, you can see the print function to print item for the first loop, then the second loop, then the third loop. For the first item, then the second item, and then the last item, which is equal to 30. And the output in this case is tuples holding single values, as you can see, 10, then comma, inside rounded braces, this is the first tuple, then 20, comma, inside another rounded braces, this is another tuple, our second tuple, and the same thing for 30. Assume we want to put, for example, three parameters inside the zip function or many parameters instead of using one or two. You can do this. Let me show you that. In this example, we created the normal for loop to iterate over the iterable object items for item in the zip function, and the zip function in this case has three parameters, not only one or two. The first one is a list of integers, followed by the second parameter, which is list of strings x, y, and z, and the last one is another iterable object, which is a list of strings, also symbols or characters inside single quotes in the list. The first one is the $sign, then the @ symbol, and the last item in the third parameter is the hash symbol, simply as you can see. And by printing out the item, you will see three tuples. This is used to zip elements from the three iterable objects together from each list to tuples, like in this output here. The first tuple has the first item from the first parameter or the first list, 10, then the first item from the second list, x, then the first item from the third list or the third parameter, which is the $sign, as you can see, and so on. And if you want to surround the returning tuples with curly braces, you can use the built-in function called set for this job. You can see in this example, by using the set built-in function for zip that has two parameters or two lists, the output in this case, by typing x and hitting shift enter or shift return to run the cell, you will see the output inside tuples, inside curly braces, or inside a set. Tuples inside a set, as you can see. So easy and so simple. But there is an important concept here, which is when we provide multiple lists, like in this example, the first parameter, a list of two numbers or two items. The second parameter is a list of four numbers or four items. When we provide multiple lists like them of different lengths, it stops at the shortest one, which is the two items in this example here. And if you want to solve this problem, you can use the zip longest from the itertools module from the Python library. As you can see here in this example, you need to set from itertools, import zip longest, and put an alias or rename this zip longest. In this case, we named it L1 to use this name instead of using the full name for zip longest. And after that, you can see we set our previous operation and we got the longest one, as you can see, instead of getting the shortest one in the output. In Python programming language, it's possible to unzip iterable objects or iterators also by using the zip built-in function. And you need also to use the asterisk symbol or the asterisk character with the zip function, exactly as in this example. After zipping three parameters or three iterators or three iterable objects, these three lists inside the first zip function, we used the zip function with the asterisk symbol or the asterisk character followed by the variable name unzipping, and we assign that to three variables x, y, and z. And you will see the output inside tuples also because of using the zip function here. But you will see the first iterator 10, 20, 30 as it is, the second iterator or the second iterable object x, y, and z, and the last one as it is also. We simply used the zip function with the asterisk symbol or the asterisk character to unzip those three iterable objects. Try this by yourself, and if you need any help, please ask me and I'll answer you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Evaluating Python expression using a built-in function called eval function. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about the evaluate function or the eval function from the Python library. This is a built-in function. The eval function is a built-in function and you can use it to evaluate the specified Python expression, and if that expression is a legal Python statement, it will be executed. And you can see if you want to use the eval function in Python programming language, call it only. You don't need to construct or design it from the beginning or the ground up. Just call the function by using its name, eval, followed by braces, and the first parameter is the expression. The expression is required, and this expression is a string data type that will be evaluated as Python code. And the next two parameters are optional. The second parameter is called globals. It's optional, a dictionary containing global parameters. Also locals, it's optional. Also it's a dictionary containing local parameters for this eval function. Now it's time to show you how to use the eval function in Python programming language in action. Our first example here, we created a variable called x and we assigned our operation of calling the eval function to this variable to use the name of that variable referring to the eval function. And you can see the parameter of the eval function is our expression. This is a string data type, and inside the string data type you can see Python code. 10 to the power of 2 is equal to 100. By printing x you will get 100, and you can try any number or any Python code using the same way. It's very easy. As you can see, you don't need to construct the eval function from the beginning or defining it. It's a built-in function or predefined function, so you can use it by using its name directly. Assign that to a variable and call the variable any valid name or any meaningful name as you wish, and print out this variable to show the result. The next example is calling the eval function without any variable, and the expression for the eval function in that case is this string data type to execute the Python code sum, and in between the parentheses or the braces of the sum built-in function you can see a list of 5 items of integers to get the sum for these values, and the sum for these values is 150 or 150. The eval function is used to evaluate this expression or this Python code in between single quotes, or you can use double quotes as well in between the rounded braces of the eval function. You can use it directly like that. One more example, you can see assign 10 to I. This is a variable and its value is equal to 10. This is integer number data type, and the print function to print the output of calling the eval function to execute or evaluate this code I multiplied by 50. And I multiplied by 50 is equal to 10 multiplied by 50 is equal to 500, because we set 10 as a value for the I variable previously. So you can pass this variable in the expression of the eval function, and the eval function will evaluate this expression exactly as you can see, and the output is 500. So easy and so simple. Now it's time to show you how to work with the globals parameter for the eval function. You should know that all the names that are passed as globals in a dictionary will be available to the eval function at the execution time, and any globals defined outside the dictionary simply won't be available to the eval function or the eval built-in method. Simply let me show you that. In the global scope we assigned 10 to x and 5 to y. We created these two variables here, and we used the print function to print out the output of using the eval function. The first parameter of the eval function is the expression x plus y, and look at globals parameter. You can see x, this is the key, and its value is x. You have to put y. You must put y to avoid getting an error. You can see in this case, name error, name y is not defined. You have to put the key of y and its value inside the curly braces. You must put the value of y with its keyword inside this dictionary as globals parameter for the eval function. So let's add y. After inserting y, as you can see, x and its value is x, the value of x which is 10, y, and the value of y is equal to 5, and the expression, due to using the expression x plus y, the eval function will evaluate this expression, so you will get 5 plus 10 which is equal to 15 as in this output here simply. And you can change the expression to an expression you wish to evaluate it. For example, exponentiation here, we put exponents instead of using the plus sign, and you can see the output. And you can try this by yourself with different expression for different mathematical operation. And you can insert also more than 2 variables to insert or to pass more than 2 values in the eval function braces. That's about globals. Let me show you how to work with locals, how to work with the local parameter inside the eval function also. In this case, the variable passed in the third dictionary are treated as local variables, and they are treated as if they are written in the function definition or the function declaration of the eval function, of the eval built-in function itself. And also, to supply a dictionary to locals, you first need to supply a dictionary to globals. In this example here, we simply defined x and y are local variables in our dictionary here in the eval function, and you can see the output is shown successfully here because our expression is x plus y, the value of x 50 and the value of y is 100. So 50 plus 100 is equal to 150 simply, or 150. And also you can change this expression to any mathematical operation you wish instead of this addition operation simply. For example, subtraction here, and you will get this output. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Memory view in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about using the memory view function in Python programming language. What is the memory view function? This function is used to return a memory view object of the given argument for that function. And the meaning of a memory view in general is it's a safe way to expose the buffer protocol in Python programming language. A safe way to expose the buffer protocol. And also, this will allows you to access the internal buffers of an object by creating a memory view object using the memory view function, as we will do in the practical section. And to use the memory view function in Python programming language, you need to call it only by using its name, and it takes only a single object or a single parameter. And this single parameter whose internal data is to be exposed. And also this argument or this parameter or this object for the memory view function must support the buffer protocol like bytes, byte array, and so on. Let me show you all of that in action. Creating a byte object first. As you can see, we created a variable and we assign this byte object to this variable called x. And by printing out the type of x, you can see the class name is bytes simply. And you know this support the buffer protocol. So now we can create a memory view for this object called x for this byte object from here. We used the memory view function by calling it, as you can see, and we assign this operation to a variable called new to use the variable name here referring to the memory view function for the X object. For the X byte array object simply we created previously, and after that the print function to print the type of new, and you can see the class name is memory view. Now we converted it to the memory view instead of bytes by using the memory view function to create a memory view for the X object for this byte array object, and also by printing out the memory view object only without anything else, you will get the output memory at this number or this reference. As you can see, the memory view called new in this case prints memory at some address, as you can see. So what we can do with that? Basically, by using that, we have the access now to the values stored in the variable called X we created previously. And also let me show you what we can do with this. You can use the name of the memory view object new.obj, as you can see, and this will print the original data stored in the X variable previously. As you can see, the bytes object we created previously. B Python programming. Also, you can use a method called toList method, and this method is used to print the ASCII values of each letter in the bytes object we created previously. B Python programming. Just use the print function to print out the result or the output for this operation. The name of the memory object followed by the dot notation followed by the calling of the toList function with empty braces, empty round braces like that, and you will get all the ASCII characters for the bytes object we created previously, and you can see all the results or all the ASCII values inside a list. Let's take another example of creating a memory view for an object, but in this case, this time we are gonna use the byte array object. You can see by using the byte array function we created a byte array object. As you can see, Python is so powerful, encoding by using UTF-8. As you can see, this is so popular, and the print function to print out the type of X, and you can see the class object, the class name is byte array. In this case, we want to show memory view for this byte array object here. All what you need to do is calling the memory view function for the X byte array object and assign that to a variable called y. Y is the memory view or the memory object now for the X byte array object, and the print function to print y after that, and you will see the memory at this address or this number here. And if you try to use the index numbers to get any value from this memory view object, you will get the ASCII value of it. So we got in this case for y and 4 inside square brackets, we got 111. This is the ASCII value for the character. After that, we used the char function to get the value at the particular index to get that character. As you can see, this character in this case is the O character. The O character inside Python is so powerful, has the index of 4 simply. Now, what can we do if we want to convert from byte array to bytes? We want to convert a byte array object to bytes object or bytes type. To do that, you can use the 2bytes function. Let's see that. As you can see in this example here, we call the 2bytes function to convert y from memory view from byte array to bytes, and we assign that to a variable called new. So if you want to print out the type of new after this statement, after new is equal to y dot bytes array with empty braces, you will get the type of class, which is class bytes, the class keyword followed by the name of that class, which is bytes. Now we converted the type of y now using the 2bytes function from byte array to bytes simply. And you can use the print function to print out new now, and you will get this bytes object. B Python is so powerful. Let's try another one. Let's take another example. You can see here we used the memory view function simply, as you can see, and this function has bytes object, as you can see, and we assign this operation to the variable called x, and after that we want to access the fourth item of x. We want to get the ASCII value for the fourth item from the previous object, and by printing out y you will get the ASCII value, and by printing the type of y you will get the type of y. The type of that number or that value is integer number, so the class name is int, referring to integer numbers in Python programming language. So we got two results here. The first one for printing y, this is the ASCII value. The first one is 55, the ASCII value of 7, and the type of that is integer number data type. The class name for that type is int, integer number data type, so we got class int inside tags, as you can see in the output. Also, you can use the slicing operations with index numbers to get the ASCII values between two ranges, exactly as in this example here. From x we want to access values, the ASCII values from the index 3 to the index 11, but the last index is not included, so the last index will be 10. And in this case, by printing out y, we got just a reference memory at this address, as you can see, or this number inside tags. You need to change y to bytes using the 2bytes function, exactly as follows. As you can see, we converted y to bytes, and you can see the output simply. And you can get the same result also by using the bytes function for y to change y to bytes object. As you can see, in this case we got the same previous result, bytes object. This is our output. Finally, you can use the list built-in function or toList function also. It's a built-in function to get the ASCII values of this object we created. You can see here we used the toList built-in function for y to get the ASCII values for y in a list, and also you can do the same thing by using the list built-in function and place y as a parameter for that function, and you will get the same result. And you can see the output here for y.toList and also list of y. As you can see, they are the same. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Mapping iterable objects in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about the map built-in function in Python programming language. This function is used to return a map object, which is an iterable object too. In other words, you can say that the map function is used to apply the specified function to every element or every item of the past iterable object, and this function will yield the result, and the result will be an iterator. And you can see the syntax of this function. The syntax of the map function, as you can see, you can call it only without any need to design it from the beginning or construct it using the def keyword. It's a built-in function or predefined function, so call it by using its name. And the map function has two parameters, as you can see inside the braces of the map function. The first parameter is the specified function, the function to be called for each element or each item of the specified iterable. And the second item is the iterable, and you can place one or more iterables separated by a comma, such as lists, tuples, and so on, any collections. Let's see all of that in action. Our first example here. We created a list called new list, and it has 5 items of integers, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. The last item is 50. separate between them using comma, and all the items are surrounded by square brackets. The main syntax of a list: we assign this list to the special name called new list, and after that the specified function, we define that function here using the def keyword, and this function for addition, so we called it addition, and it has a single parameter as you can see, and the returning value back to the caller from that function is n plus 5. The value that will be passed into the function body, the value of n that will be passed into the function body plus 5. And after that you can see we used the map function by calling it, and it has two parameters. The first one is the specified function addition in this case, and the second one is the iterable object, which is our list of 5 items, the new list. In this case, every element of this list called new list is passed as a parameter to this function called addition, and the entire modified list simply is saved in a variable called myList here, referring to the map built-in function as an iterable. And also you can see by using the print function to print out myList, you will get this object. This is called the map object in the output, as you can see simply, which is an iterable, so you can iterate on it. We need to iterate over this map object to see the items one by one. So for this reason, let's use the for loop to iterate over the iterable object in this case. You can see here we build the for loop using the for keyword followed by a variable name. Item, you can name it any valid name you wish, any descriptive name, followed by the in keyword, and myList, referring to the map built-in function, referring to the map object. And by printing item, you will get this output here, the items one by one. 10 plus 5 is equal to 15, 20 plus 5 is equal to 25, 30 plus 5 is equal to 35, and so on until reaching the last item, which is 50 plus 5 is equal to 55, due to using the returning value from the addition function. The returning value is n plus 5 due to using this expression for the return statement. Any number or any value from the new list will be added to 5 simply. You can change 5 to 10 to see the difference in the output. As you can see, 10 plus 10 is equal to 20, 20 plus 10 is equal to 30, and so on until reaching the last item, which is 50 plus 10 is equal to 60. So easy and so simple. Try to do this by yourself and try to rename the variable of the for loop instead of using item, and also create another list and create another expression for the return statement and see the difference in the output. And you can pass many iterables instead of using one iterable object as a parameter of the map built-in function. For example, here we have two iterable objects. Here we have two tuples. We defined a function called adding first, and it has two parameters, in this case x and y, and the values of x and y will be passed into the function body, and the returning value back to the caller from that function will be x plus y, the value of x plus the value of y. And you can see after that we created an object or a variable called myList, and we assigned the map built-in function to this myList, and the specified function is the first parameter of the map built-in function, as you can see. And the map built-in function in this example has two iterable objects. The first one is a tuple of two items, apple and watermelon, and the second iterable object also is another tuple, which is banana and fig, has two items also, as you can see. And we used the tuple built-in function to design a tuple based on these items. We are using in this example two iterable objects that are tuples, as you can see, and executing a concatenation function on them with the help of the adding function we designed. And instead of iterating on the map object of myList in this case, we are simply converting it into a tuple using the tuple built-in function, and we passed my list as a parameter of the tuple built-in function and the print function to print out the result on the screen easily and simply. Also, it's possible to use the map built-in function with anonymous functions in Python programming language, and these anonymous functions are lambda functions in Python. And we have an example here. After creating a list of 5 items called new list, we assign the lambda function with the map function operation to a variable called cubeIn, and simply, instead of passing a function that we defined previously as the first parameter of the map built-in function, in this case we are using a lambda function as the first parameter of the map built-in function, which calculates the cube of each element of the list we created here called new list, of each element from 5 to 30. And you can see the argument for the lambda function is n, the expression is n multiplied by n multiplied by n. The expression is the cube of n, and the iterable object we have here is the new list, our list in this case of 5 items of 5 integers. And the print function to print out this object, as you can see, this is a map object at this reference or this number here. And you can use the list built-in function to convert this map object to a list of cube numbers for the new list, and the print function to print out the result after this converting here by using the list built-in function to print out the cube of numbers for numbers from 5 to 30 for the numbers of the new list. You can see the cube of 5 is equal to 1 to 5 and so on until reaching the last item. Also, by using the lambda function, you can pass 2 iterable objects instead of 1 iterable object, and the specified function in this case is lambda function also. You can see we have 2 iterable objects here. The first one is numbers 1, it has 3 items of integers, and we have another iterable object or another list called numbers 2, it has 3 items from 40 to 60. And you can see inside the braces of the map built-in function, the specified function, the first parameter is the lambda function. And the lambda function arguments in this case are a and b. A for each item from the numbers 1, b for each item from the first item of numbers 2 until reaching the last item of numbers 2. And the expression for the lambda function is a multiplied by b. After that, you can see we have 2 iterable objects, numbers 1 and numbers 2, as you can see simply. And if you try to print out this output on the list or convert this output on a list, after that you will see the output is 10 multiplied by 40 is equal to 400, 20 multiplied by 50, and so on until reaching the last item, which is the result of multiplying 30 by 60 due to using the expression of the lambda function a multiplied by b. After converting the mapping object to a list using the list built-in function to convert the new result map object to a list, for this operation you will see the result here after printing out these values on the screen using the print function inside another list due to using the list built-in function. 10 multiplied by 40 is equal to 400, 20 multiplied by 50 is equal to 1000, and so on for the last item. As you can see, 30 multiplied by 60 and the result on the screen. So easy and so simple, and you can try to do this by yourself with many iterable objects, not only one iterable object. Thank you so much for watching. The enumerate function in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about the enumerate function. It's a built-in function from the Python library, and this function simply is a constructor method or a constructor function, and it is used to return an object of the enumerate class. This function is used to return an enumerate object for the given iterable, sequence, collection, iterator, or any object you pass into the function inside the braces of the function simply as a first parameter. And for the enumerate function, the returned object contains tuples for each item, for each element in the iterable object, that includes an index number and also the values obtained from iterating over the iterable object or the sequence or the iterator. The returned output from that function is a tuple for each item in the iterable object, as we said beforehand, with the index number for each value. And the syntax, as you can see, call the enumerate function without any need to design it from the ground up. It's a built-in function, so you can use it directly by calling it. And it has two parameters. The first one is the iterable object, and this first parameter is required. And the second parameter is optional, which is the starting point or the starting index. The default value for this is 0. Let's take some examples to clarify that, to see all of that in action. We have a list of 4 items here first. This list is called names, and we assigned a list of 4 items to this special name or this special variable to use this names after that inside our program. The first item is Ahmed, the second one is Ibra, the third one is Joe, and the last item in this list is called Marcelo. And all the items are surrounded by square brackets, as you can see. This is the list syntax in Python programming language. You can see we used the enumerate function after that. We used this built-in function by calling it only, and we assign this operation to another variable or another object. And this object or this variable is called newEnum or new enumerate, and you can see the enumerate function has a parameter, and this parameter is the iterable object, which is our list of names, which is called names. So we inserted the name of this list inside the braces of that function. This is the argument for the enumerate function here. And if you try to print out the type for newEnum, you will get the class type for this enumerate value, which is class enumerate, as you can see simply. The class keyword followed by the name of that class, which is enumerate in this case. And to get a list of tuples using the enumerate function, we need to convert this enumerate value to a list. Exactly as in this example here, we created another list based on the newEnum refers to the enumerate function for the names list. And you can see in this case, by building the new list using the list built-in function and printing out this new list using the print function, this is another built-in function to print out the values of the new list. You can see this list of tuples for each item in the iterable object we created previously called names. The index of Ahmed is 0, the index of Ibra is 1, the index of Joe is 2, and the index of Marcelo is equal to 3. And you can set the optional argument for the enumerate function or the optional parameter that is called start to set the starting index instead of using the default value, which is equal to 0 as in this example. For example, you can change the starting value to 10 to start counting from 10. So you can see the index of Ahmed is equal to 10, the index of Ibra is equal to 11, the index of Joe is equal to 12, and the index of the last item Marcelo is equal to 13, as you can see simply. And you can change the starting value to any number you wish to start from. Also, you can use the enumerate function with loops to iterate over an iterable object simply, and you will get the index numbers and also the names or the values. This example here also based on the names list we created previously. You can see we started the for loop using the for keyword followed by two variables, the index using the index variable or the index keyword, and the second keyword is name. This is another variable for names in enumerate, and you can see in between the parentheses of the enumerate function is a parameter called names, refers to the names list we created previously. And inside the indented body of the for loop you can see the print function to print each index and each name. Index will represent each index from the first item to the last item of the names list, and name to represent each value for each item from the names list here in this loop. And you can see the output. The index number by default for Ahmed is 0, and the index number for Ibra by default is 1, for Joe is equal to 2, Marcelo is equal to 3. You can see the index number comes first, then the value of any item from the beginning to the end of this list. And if this list contains, for example, 10 items, 50 items, you will see the 50 items here starting from 0 until reaching 49, for example. And in this example we have 4 items in the names list, so the index numbers starting from 0 until reaching 3. The index number for the last item is equal to 3, as you can see. And the previous for loop calls a function called next function, and this is a built-in method also that removes and returns each element. You can see in this example here we used the next function by calling it after the name of the variable that contains or refers to the enumerate method, the variable name inside the braces of the print function, followed by the dot notation, followed by the next function. And you can see this operation or this next function returns the first value from the list with its index number inside a tuple. And you can use another next function to return the next value in the list called names with its index number also in another tuple, and so on for each item from the names list. Each item or each value with its index number first. And you can see here we used the next function 4 times because we have 4 values inside the names list, 4 items inside this list. So by using 4 copies of the next function here, calling it 4 times, you will get the first value and its index number, the second value and its index number, and the counting for index numbers starts from 0 by default in this case, as you can see simply in this example. But if you try to use the next function one more time, you will get an error. Actually, this is an exception and it is called the stop iteration exception here to stop our iterator, because this iterator or this iterable object contains only 4 items, so you can use the next function only 4 items due to the number of items for this iterable object. You cannot use the next function 5 times for 4 items like in this example here. Simply, if you try to use it again, you will get the stop iteration exception in the output. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. The exec function in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. This lesson about the exec function or the execute function or the execute method in Python programming language. It's a built-in function or a built-in method, and this function is used to execute a block of code in Python programming language passed as a string data type or a code object. And this function or this method can take 3 parameters The first one is required, which is the object. This object is required, either a string data type or a block of code. And also the second one, globals, is optional. This is a dictionary containing global variables if you want to set it. And the last parameter for the exec function is called locals, and also it's optional. This is a dictionary also containing local variables, but it's optional. So the first one is required. You have to put a Python code as a string data type or a code object simply. Let's see all of that practically by taking real examples. We will use the exec function in Python programming language to execute Python code simply. The first example here, we have the exec function to execute this block of code or this statement, the print function to print hi there. This is a Python statement inside double quotes. This is the object that is passed into the function calling. You need to call the exec function only. You don't need to construct that function from the beginning or defining it by using the def keyword or anything like that. Just use it directly because it's a built-in function, predefined function, and the result of this operation is hi there. This execute function executes our code, executes our statement, and the print function prints hi there on the screen. So easy and so simple, as you can see. Let's see our second example. Our second example here, we created a variable called new code and we assigned multiple line string data type, and we inserted a code inside this multiple line string data type to this new code variable. And after that, you can see the exec function is used to execute the code related to the new code variable. The exec function executes x is equal to 10, then y is equal to 20, then the print function to print out x plus y equals, and comma, and after that the operation x plus y to add the value of x to the value of y simply, as you can see. And the execute function or the exec function here executes this code, so the output is x plus y is equal to 30, x plus y is equal to 10 plus 20 is equal to 30, as you can see. Let's try another one. You can use the input function to take an input from a user, and the code that is passed to the exec function can take a user input as an argument or as an object to execute it. We have an example here. This is the input function. Enter Python code here. This is our string in the input function braces, and the exec function after that to execute the inserted code related to the input function. And you can insert after that any code. After enter Python code here string, you can insert any Python code in this box of the input function. As you can see here, we insert a code inside this box, and this code is a list comprehension expression here. And this is to build a list based on a list of 3 items of integers here. Print I to the power of 2 for I in 10, 20 and 30. And you can see here, due to using I to the power of 2 to display the square of numbers 10, 20 and 30, the square of this list of each number in this sequence or this list, you can see the output 100, 400 and 900. 10 to the power of 2 is equal to 100, 20 to the power of 2 is equal to 400, 30 to the power of 2 is equal to 900. That's it. So easy and so simple. The exec function in this case used to execute this Python code simply, and we got this output like any Python code. Also, you can use the exec function to execute the built-in functions in Python programming language. For example, here the absolute function to to get the absolute value or the abs function. This is a built-in function. We pass this function as a parameter or as an argument inside the print function, as you can see inside the exec function, to get the absolute value for -10, which is equal to 10. So by seeing this example, the exec function can execute built-in functions in Python programming language. Let's try another one with the dir function. And you can see in this case the exec function for print and the dir function with an empty braces in between the parentheses or the braces of the print function, and this will give you all the functions that are available to the exec function when no module has been imported. Simply like in this example here, you can see all the functions that are available to the exec function or the exec method simply inside square brackets or inside a list. And if you imported built-in module like the math module in this case, then all the methods or functions of the math module will be available to use inside the braces of the exec function easily without any problems. You can see the first statement is from math import asterisk to import all the functions and constants from the math module. Then we assigned a Python code to the code variable we created here. X is equal to square root of 16 to get the square root using the square root function of 16, which is equal to 4, and the print function to print the value of x, which is equal to 4 in this case. And the exec function has two arguments in this case. The first argument is the code to execute it, and the second argument is the global dictionary, and it's possible to do that. And the output simply for this operation is equal to a floating point number 4.0 or 4, the square root of 16 simply. Try to get the square root of any number instead of 16. And for this example, if you try to set an empty dictionary as a global parameter for the exec function, which simply indicates that no global or imported modules functions are allowed, and so in this case the program will give you name error, name square root is not defined, because the square root function is from inside the math module. So try to set the value of the global parameter inside the dictionary, or you can leave out this parameter completely. You can remove this parameter and you can simply execute the code with the required parameter only, the object or the code block here, using the variable name as a parameter for the exec function, exactly as you can see, and you will get the output 4.0 or 4, the square root of 16. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Args and quarks in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. In this section we are going to be discussing args and quarks parameters in Python programming language. Let's start with args. Asterisk args. The asterisk args method is used to represent a varied number of arguments. If you are unsure how many items you want to pass into the function body, you can use asterisk args in that case, because the asterisk args lets you pass arguments to a function body when you are unsure how many arguments or parameters you want to pass. You can pass 2 parameters, 3 parameters, 4 parameters into the function body without any problems. The next one that we are gonna talk about is quarks. In this section, the double asterisk quarks or method is used to represent an arbitrary number of arguments also that are passed into the function body, and the quarks keywords are stored in a dictionary inside curly braces. So if you want to access any value, you can use the key name for that value. In this case, you can access each item by referring to the keyword you associated with an argument when you passed many arguments using quarks. To make everything clear to understand, let's see how to use args and quarks in action by a real example. Put the asterisk args as a parameter for a function. We created a function here. We defined that function using the def keyword. This is a user-defined function, normal function called addition, or you can name it any valid name you wish. Try to put a descriptive name for your function. And you can see inside the body of that function, result is equal to 0, and we started a for loop for x in args to iterate over the args elements. And you can see the body of the for loop result is equal to result plus x, and the print function after that inside the addition function to print the result. This program simply will add together the values of multiple arguments that will be passed into the function body using the asterisk args. And this is a simple program for addition. This program will perform a mathematical sum without having to use a plus sign for each value that we want to add here in this example. Now let's call this function to calculate the sum of multiple values. After designing this function called addition, you can see we called that function 2 times. You can take a look at the first calling for the addition function. We passed 10, 20, and 30 into the function body, multiple arguments, multiple values as you can see, using the asterisk args will be passed into the function body. And the result for this operation is equal to 60 due to adding 10 to 20 to 30. And we have another calling for the addition function also with 5 items, not 3 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All that inside the braces of the calling of the addition function, and the result in this case is equal to 15. You can see that. And you can use as many parameters or as many values as you wish, not only 5. This is due to using the asterisk args to pass many values into the function body. The asterisk args is used to represent this variable number of values of arguments, and we declare the variable inside this function. You can see this variable is called result, and we set the value of this variable to 0. Initially this variable is set to 0, and we use the for loop after that to go through every argument or every value in the args keyword, and we added each value or each number to our result in this case. And you can see the output for the first calling and the output for the second calling. Try to insert another calling for this function with many values, not only 5, and see the result. Thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to the practical lesson about quarks in Python programming language to represent an arbitrary number of arguments. So let's explore how to use the double asterisk quarks in Python programming language. You can create a function like this example here. This is called the new order function, and this new order function takes quarks, double asterisk quarks as a parameter, and the arbitrary or the variable values for quarks will be passed into the function body. So we need to call this function to pass values into the function body. We simply created this program to display the information or the data about a customer order at a coffee shop. Let's call this function, let's call the new order function, and we are gonna pass 3 arguments for this function into the function body. You can see this is the calling of the new order, and it has 3 arguments here in the braces, in the round braces of the calling of that function. And the arguments, as you can see, are sent to our function called new order as a dictionary. The first key is called T and its value is green. The second key is price and its value is 1.8. The last key or the last argument is the size, and its value is medium, is equal to medium. As you can see, this dictionary is passed into the function body, so the program will print this dictionary on the screen like this output here. After hitting shift enter or shift return to run the cell for the calling of the new order function, you will see the full dictionary as an output. Now let's complete our function here. We are gonna start the for loop using the for keyword for key and value to display every item, every key and its value. And you can see inside the print function we used the format method. This built-in function is used to format a string, and the first key will be placed in the first placeholder, the first empty curly braces, then is equal to, then the second placeholder for value. This is for the first item. Then after displaying the key and is equal to and its value for the first item, the program will represent the second item due to using the for loop, key and its value, and so on. As you can see here, this is the output. T is equal to green, price is equal to 1.8, and the last one size is equal to medium. This is our simple program here. You can do this easily by yourself. Inside the parentheses of the print function, you can insert another text or another string instead of using is equal to, and also you can call this function with many parameters or many arguments instead of using 3 arguments here. Inside the braces of the calling of this function, let's add another argument to see the difference in the output. You can see after size is equal to medium, we added another argument. This argument is sugar, and its value in this case is a Boolean value, true. Boolean value in Python programming language represents true or false. And this dictionary now has 4 items, not only 3 items. And by hitting shift enter after that or shift return or running this cell, you will see the difference here in the output. You will see sugar is equal to true is added. This argument is passed into the function body after the first 3 arguments, so the key sugar is placed in the position of the first empty curly braces, then the text is equal to, then its value true. And you can notice that in the output here, sugar is equal to true after size is equal to medium. And you can add as many parameters or as many arguments as you wish inside this dictionary or any dictionary you created, or you can call this function many times with different values. And remember that the quarks keywords in Python programming language are stored in a dictionary like in this example here, and you can access each item from this dictionary by referring to the keyword or the key name for that value, simply like this example here. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Iterators in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. In this section we are going to be discussing iterators in Python programming language. What is the definition of an iterator? The simplest definition of an iterator is an iterator in Python programming language is a simple object that contains a countable or a sequence number of values. Iterators are collections that can be iterated upon. That's it simply. The iterator is an object which implements 2 methods, the iter method or the iter method and the next method. The first one, the iter method, which initializes an iterator by returning an iterator object, and the next function or the next method is used to return the next item in the process of iteration or in the iterator. The iter method is used to get an iterator, and the next method is used to return the next item in the iterator. And another concept we have in this section is the stop iteration exception. Simply, we use this stop iteration to stop any iteration or any iterator by raising it. By raising the stop iteration exception, you can stop any iteration process. Let's explore all of that in action. First of all, we are gonna be creating our first iterator, and we implement the iter method here. And this method in this case is used to build an iterator based on the numbers list. In this case, the numbers list we created here has 7 items from 10 to 70 inside square brackets, and after that the iter method is used to build an iterator based on the numbers. So this function takes only a single parameter, which is the numbers list, and we assign that to a variable called new iterator. This iterator is made by the iter method, and you can use the next function or the next method to get each element from this sequence or this iterator. You can see by using the next function and the new iterator object or the new iterator variable as a parameter for the next method, you will get the first item. And you can do the same thing for the second item. If you use another next function after that, you will get the second item. The third one, you will get the third item in the sequence or in this iterator based on this list called numbers. So let's call the next function many times. After the first next function, we used the next function again 6 times in addition to the last one. And you can see the second item, the third item, the fourth item, until reaching the last item, which is equal to 70. But if you try to use the next function one more time, you will get the stop iteration exception, because our list or our iterator has only 7 items. So you can use the next function 7 times, not 8 times. If you try to use it 8 times or many times instead of 7 times, you will get the stop iteration exception to stop this process. String data type is collection of characters or sequence of characters. So you can build an iterator based on a string data type. Like in this example here, we have a string data type. This string data type is iterator tutorial in Python, and we assign that string data type to a variable called sequence or sec. After that, we build an iterator based on the sequence using the iter method or the iter method or the iter function, and it has a single parameter, which is the sequence or the string data type. The variable belongs to this string, and after that you can use the next function many times. You can use the next function to get the elements or to get the characters in this sequence. And if you try to use the next function more than the number of characters of the sequence, you will get stop iteration after that. And for the string data type, to display the characters one by one from the first character of the string data type of this iterator, based on the string data type iterator tutorial in Python, the next function 8 times here, and the print function to print out the result on the screen. And you can see due to using the next function 8 times, the first 8 characters from inside the string are shown here. Also, you can use the functional programming to build an iterator. You can create a function similar to the for loop instead of using the for loop, which will iterate through each element or every element of the sequence or the collection. Exactly as you can see here, we defined a function called new iterator, and we assigned the iter function to a variable called myIterable to build an iterator based on the value that will be passed into the function body based on the value of n. And when we call this function, the value of n will be a list, will be any sequence of characters or numbers, and this sequence will be passed into the position of the parentheses or the braces of the iter function, so the program will generate an iterator based on this sequence. And after that we used the try and except block. You can see while true try, the program will use the next function for my iterable to display the items one by one instead of using the for loop, and the except block for the stop iteration after that, and the program will break. By using this, the program will give you an infinite loop which will break at the end of the iteration or at the end of the iterator in this case. Now let's call this function called new iterator with different values for n with different sequences. You can see the first sequence is a list of 4 items, and you can see by using this function, by calling it, this list will be passed into the function body, and the iter function will build an iterator based on this list, and you can see the output. And the same thing for the tuple in the next calling for the new iterator function. You can see the tuple will be passed into the function body, and the program will build an iterator based on this sequence or this tuple, and will display it one by one until reaching the last item, and the program will stop at the end of the iteration process in this case. Also, it's possible to pass a string data type because strings are sequences or collections of characters, and you can see in this case we call the new iterator function with this string here a powerful iterator function, and the function called new iterator displays this output here, the characters one by one until reaching the last item in this sequence, and the program breaks at the end of the iteration process in this case. So easy and so simple, as you can see. That's all about built-in iterators in Python programming language. You can use the object-oriented concepts to create your own iterator also. Let's see that. Let's see how to design an iterator from the ground up. Building our custom iterator using the object-oriented concepts. As you can see, we created a class using the class keyword, followed by the name of this class, which is incrementing. After that, we define the iter function using the def keyword, and after the iter function we declared or we defined the next function. The iter function will initialize the iteration and will build an iterator based on a sequence, and the next function or the next method is used to produce the next element or produce the next item in the sequence or in the iterator. And for the iter function here, it has the self parameter to access the attributes when creating objects based on that class. Self.count is equal to 0, and the returning value back to the caller from that function is the self parameter or the self value. And after that, for the next function, x is equal to self.count. Self.count is equal to self.count plus 1. This incrementation is so important to display or to produce the next element in the sequence, and the returning value back to the caller is x in this case from that function. Now you can create as many objects as you wish based on that class, and you can use the iter function, the built-in function called iter function, based on that class here, based on that custom iterator we created previously. Exactly as you can see, we created an object called new object, and we assigned the class called incrementing to this special variable or to this object, and after that we created another variable and we assigned the iter function with the new object as a parameter for that function to the variable called new iter. And for the iter function, you will see the count in this case will start from 0. So if you try to use the next function many times, the program will increment the value of count. So the program will display for the next function, for the first next function 0, for the second next function will display 1, and so on. Exactly as follows. In this example here, we used the next function 7 times. The first next function displays 0. The second next function will display the next value, which is 1, due to incrementing the count by 1. And that's based on the next function from inside the incrementing class we created. And for the third next function, the program displays 2 until reaching 6. Because of using the next function 7 times, the program start counting from 0 to 6. This is our iterator here. And if you try to use the next function, in this case 100 times, you will get the items, or you will get numbers from 0 to 99. Because there is no limit here, no limits for this program. There is no stop iteration in the next function. You have to put the stop iteration. And if you try to use, for example, the for loop, you will get an infinite loop. There is no stop iteration. Let's see the for loop. Let's see the infinite loop by using the for loop. You can see by using the for loop for num in incrementing, and the print function to print the value of num one by one from the beginning of the sequence from 0, and there is no limits, no stop iteration limit. You will get an infinite loop. Simply, as you can see, you must put stop iteration inside the class, inside the next function or the next method in the class called incrementing. Let's do that. Inside the next method in the incrementing class, you can see we set the conditional if statement with the else statement also. To set this condition, to make decision in this case, if self.count is smaller than or equal to 15, x is equal to self.count is equal to self.count plus 1, and the returning value is x. And the else statement to display or to raise the stop iteration exception if the previous condition for the conditional if statement is false. So in this case, the program will raise the stop iteration exception in the output simply. Our limit or our range in this case is from 0 to 15 due to using the test expression for the conditional if statement inside the next method for that class here. And after that, you can use the next function many times to see this, or you can use the for loop. You can use the for loop to iterate over this iterator or this iteration process to see the ranges. Exactly as you can see for num in incrementing, the for keyword followed by the variable name. You can name it any name you wish instead of num. The in keyword, incrementing that class, and the print function to print the variable num to display the first element, then the second element until reaching the last element, which is 15, as you can see, due to using the test expression or the condition inside the conditional if statement inside the next function in our class. You can set another condition and try to do this by yourself with different values. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Generators in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are gonna discuss generators in Python programming language. What is the generator function? Simply, the generator function allows you to declare a function that behaves like an iterator. And simply, it can be used in a for loop. That's it simply. In other words, Python programming language provides a generator function to create your own iterator function, to build your own iterator. So a generator is a special type of function, and you can use this function to return many values. the generator function doesn't return a single value, not only a single value, instead it can return iterator object with a collection of values. That's it, simply by using the yield statement. And using the yield statement is very different from using the return statement or the return keyword. Let me tell you the difference between them. First of all, you should know that the generator function cannot include the return statement inside it. And if you try to do that, then in this case you will see the return keyword will terminate the function, will stop the function. So what is the difference between the yield and the return? Simply the difference between the yield statement and the return statement is that the yield statement or the yield keyword returns a value and pauses the execution while maintaining the internal states, whereas the return statement or the return keyword is used to return a value and terminates the execution of the function. So the program will terminate and will stop the function immediately. So you cannot use the return statement or the return keyword. For the generator function, you must use the yield statement or the yield keyword in this case. That's it simply, and I'll show you that practically in action. Let's go ahead to see all of that practically. In this section, our first example is creating the new generator function. You can see this is a normal function, but by using the yield statement, 3 yield statements inside that function here, instead of using the return statement or the return keyword. We define that function using the def keyword, followed by the name of that function. And you can give this function any name you wish, instead of using the new generator name here. And you can see inside the body of this function, the body contains a variable, and this variable is called x, that gets incremented after each yield statement here. You can see the first value is x is equal to 0, and we used the print function to print a text after that to print out this string or this message, our first point here, and the yield statement to return x. Then we incremented x by 1, then the print function, and the print function after that to print out another message, our second point here, and the yield statement to return x after that, after incrementing x by 1. And after that you can see another incrementation for the x variable, x plus equals 1 also, and the print function again to print out our third point here, and the yield statement again to return x. And in this case, when you call the new generator function, it will return a generator object which is called an iterator sequence of values. And you can see also this generator object, new generator, at this number here. We created an object called newOb, and we called the new generator function, and we assign this calling to the newOb object or variable. And if you try to print out newOb, you will get this result. Now to start its execution, we need to use the next method or the next function. It's a built-in function, and in this case the next function will take this object called newOb as an argument. The first next function will display the first value, the second next function will display the second value, and the third next function will display the third value. Let me show you that. The print function 3 times with that formatted string to print out the value of x is, and placeholder for the next function for the newOb 3 times. The function runs until it counters a yield statement inside the new generator function, and after that the function returns the next value in the iterator and hands over the transfer to the caller, but its state is maintained, not terminated. And when we call the next function or the next method like that again, after the first one, the function begins its execution after the last encountered for the else statement. So the program will give you our first point here, then the value of x is 0, and the program will be paused and maintained in this point. And for the next statement, for the second next statement, the program will continue with the next else statement. Then it will display our second point here. Then the value of x is 1 in this case due to incrementation by 1. And so on for the last point. The value of x is 2 due to also the incrementation. This is after pausing and maintaining due to using the last yield statement. This is the main advantage of using the else statement here inside the generator function. And if you try to call the next function one more time, you will get the stop iteration exception, because we have 3 else statements, 3 returning values from that function. The generator function doesn't contain any more lines, so the program will give you the stop iteration exception like that if you try to use print the value of x is and the next statement for that object again. And instead of calling the next statement many times, for each returning value you can use the for loop to iterate over the sequence or this iterable object or this generator easily. You can do that by using the for loop. Let's see that. By using the for loop, using the for keyword followed by a variable that will represent each item in the sequence, I will represent the first item, then the second item after displaying the last item, and so on until reaching the last item in the sequence, and followed by new ob, the name of our object that we assigned the calling of the generator function to it, and the print function to print out this formatted string the value of x is, and the placeholder for the variable called I. And you can name it any name instead of I, but try to put the name after the for loop, and inside also the curly braces inside the formatted string in the print function braces. And you can see this output for this operation here. By using this short way, using the for loop, it will prevent and eliminate the chances of raising stop iteration exception or any error. As you can see, there is no stop iteration exception in the output after that. The output simply is our first point here, then the value of x is 0, then our second point here, then the value of x is 1 due to incrementing x by 1, then our third point here, and the last one the value of x is 2 due to using or due to incrementing x by 1 again. Now it's time to talk about the generator expressions in Python programming language. This is a very short and concise way to create an iterator based on a single line of code, using a single line of code by using this technique for generator expressions. Let's see this in action. We will start by 2 examples, an example for list comprehension and another example for generator expression to see the difference between them. The 2 ways are concise, short, and very powerful. For the list comprehension, new list is equal to, and you can see the expression inside the square brackets for this list comprehension. I multiplied by I for I in the range from 0 to 12, but the last one is not included. 12 is not included, so you will get the numbers or sequence of numbers from 0 to 11. Let's say it simply, and you can place any variable, any valid variable name instead of I. The expression here, I multiplied by I, and the for loop after that for I in this range. And this list comprehension technique or this list comprehension line will simply display the square of each number from 0 to 11. And you can see the same example but by using the generator expression. It's inside round braces or a tuple. The expression in this case is I multiplied by I to display the square of the number. The square of I for each number from 0 to 11 also. So easy and so simple. And the last number inside the range function, the last parameter is not included. The program will stop at the square of 11, not 12. And in this case, if you try to print out the new list and the new generator, you will get the output or the square numbers for this sequence for the list comprehension. But using the print function only for the new generator, you will not see the square of the new generator numbers. You can see here by using the list comprehension technique, we created a list based on another list. And this list is the square of numbers from 0 to 11, as you can see, so easy and so simple inside another list. This is our new list, but by using print new generator, you will get generator object at this number or this reference here. You should use the for loop to iterate over the generator to display the square of numbers from 0 to 11 for this new generator by using the generator expression this concise way. Let's simply do that by using the for loop. By creating that for loop for num in the new generator, and inside the body of the for loop, inside the indented body, you will see print num, and you can name this num variable any name you wish instead of using num. You can name it var item or any valid name you wish instead of that, and you can see the output here, the same previous output one by one, as you can see, due to using the for loop. And the print function will print the first square number for 0 is 0, then the square of 1 is equal to 1, the square of 2 is equal to 4, and the last number is the square of 11. That's it, so easy and so simple. You can try this by yourself. You can change the generator expression to any operation instead of that by using this single line of code only. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Meta classes in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. In Python programming language, meta class is a class that instantiates another class. You can say that a class is an object of another class, and this other class is called a meta class. This is the simplest definition for meta classes in Python programming language. And meta classes are used to define the behavior of class objects when you create objects based on a class in Python programming language. And in this section I will show you how to use a built-in meta class called type, and after that I will show you also how to create and build your meta class from the ground up. Any class we want to create in Python programming language is an instance of class called type, and this class called type is a meta class, is a built-in meta class. So every class of Python programming language belongs to this built-in meta class called type. Now let's see all of that in action to clarify every concept. The first step, creating our class using the class keyword first, and this class is called new sample. This is a normal class, and the pass statement or the pass keyword inside the body of this class to pass this empty class without getting any error. And you can name it any name you wish. Follow the rules for naming variables or naming classes in Python programming language to give a meaningful name for the class. And the next step is creating an object based on that class. You can create as many objects as you wish based on a class in Python programming language. Our object here is called new obj. You can name it also any valid name you wish, and the value for this object or the value for this variable is new sample, the name of the class. And don't forget to put the empty braces, or the empty round braces refers to that class, and the print function to print the type of new object, and you can see class main.newSample. Now what is the meaning of this output? Simply, this output means this object called new obj is an object of that class called newSample. The class keyword followed by main, the main function, followed by the name of the class. And if you try to use the type function for the name of the class directly, you will get the class type, exactly as you can see, using the print function to print out the result for this operation. For using the type built-in function or the type class for the newSample class, you will get class type. And the meaning of that is the newSample class is an object of the class called type. The newSample class is an instance of the class type, so this type class is a meta class. And as we said beforehand, simply every class you create in Python programming language belongs to the built-in meta class called type. Like this example here, our class called newSample belongs to the type meta class. And you can use this type meta class to create a single class in a single line of code. Only a single line. You can create your class with any name using the type meta class simply, exactly as in this example here. You can see player is equal to the type function, and inside the parentheses or the braces of the type class you can see, and also the inherited classes should be provided in the second argument, as in this example for team. When creating a class like that, this is called the player class and the inherited class is called team. This is a single line of code to create a class based on the meta class, based on the built-in meta class called type. Any class in Python is an object of the type built-in meta class. And if you want to add attributes and methods for the class in Python programming language, but by using the same previous method or the same previous way, by using the type meta class, and simply they should be provided in the third argument for the type built-in function or the type class. That's it simply. You can take a look at here. This is a normal class. We define the init function inside this class, the init method, and you can see the parameters here. And also by using the type built-in meta class, you can add those attributes and methods exactly as follows without any problems. Define the init function first using the def keyword and the init function, and this function has three parameters: the self parameter to access the attributes from inside the class while creating objects, and the second one is name, and the third one is role. Self.name is equal to name, self.role is equal to role, and inside the init function we inserted the number attribute or the number variable using self.name is equal to 7. This is the value for number. And you can see we used the type class to create a class called player, and to insert the previous method with attributes inside this class, you can see the third argument here for the type built-in function or the type class. The third parameter is the init function, and the key is the init function with double underscore, and its value is the init function we created. After that, if you type player, you will see main.player. This is our class. Also, you can create an object or as many objects as you wish based on the player class we created here. And we created an object called newObj is equal to the calling of the class we created using the meta class called type. And the first parameter, the value of name is Ahmed, and the value of role is equal to 7 in this case. And you can create as many objects as you wish. This is like any normal class you created using the class keyword. This is so easy and so simple. This class called the player is an object of the type meta class. So easy as you can see, and by using the print function, the name of the object followed by the dot notation followed by class using double underscore, you can see class main and the name of the class. The name of the class is player. This player is created by using the type meta class. Finally, let me show you how to create or how to build custom meta class from the ground up using the class keyword. You can see we build the new meta class using the class keyword, and its name is new meta and its parameter is the type meta class in this case. And inside this new meta class using underscores is equal to the type meta class here. And after that, we created another one called new demo, and inside the body of this class you can see meta class is equal to new meta, the previous class we created. The purpose of creating our new meta class here is to define the behavior of any class, and in this case we want to define the behavior of the new demo class. So our meta class is called new meta, and this class must inherit the default meta class type as a parameter inside the parentheses of this new meta class, exactly as you can see. This is the main meta class. And after that, after creating the two classes, we created an object called newObj is equal to the new demo class. And if you try to print newObj.meta class, you will get class main, and the main meta class is new meta here. And the print function to print new meta.meta class, the main meta class for this new meta is the type meta class. This is so easy and so simple as you can see. And also it's possible to add methods and behaviors or attributes inside the new meta class if you wish. This is the general concept about creating and building meta class from the ground up by using the type built-in meta class from the ground up. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. Decorators in Python programming language. What is the meaning of a decorator? A decorator in Python programming language simply is a design pattern that allows any user to add new functionality to an existing object like functions, or you can modify the behavior of our functions or classes. By using decorators in Python programming language, you can wrap another function to extend the behavior of the wrapped function without permanently modifying it. That's it simply. And for this reason, to decorate a function in Python programming language, just before the definition or the declaration of a function you want to decorate, insert this syntax, the @ symbol followed by the decorator function, and after that you can declare a function you want to decorate by using this decorator function. I'll show you how to do that in action, but we are gonna start by creating functions, and also the regular way to do that without using the add symbol. And after all of that, I'll show you how to use the add symbol to do that by using short and concise way. First of all, we have a simple function. This function is called adding, to add num to 1. And you can see the returning value. The return statement will return the expression n plus 1 back to the caller of this function. The def keyword to define any function in Python programming language, followed by the name of that function, adding, and you can name it any name you wish instead of using adding, and it has a single parameter that will be passed into the function body. This is about the function header that ends with that colon, and after that you can hit enter or return to type return num plus 1 inside the body, inside the indented body of that function, using 4 white spaces automatically. After that, you can assign the calling of that function to a variable, and you can call this function many times. Let me show you that. You can see in this case, adding 1 is equal to adding. We assign the calling of the function adding to a variable called adding 1, and you can give this variable any name instead of adding 1. After that, we call this function by using the new variable name adding 1, and 10, the argument in this case, is equal to 10, the value of num that will be passed into the function body. So in this case, the returning value will be 10 plus 1, and the output is 11. 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. And another calling adding 1, and the value of num in this case is equal to 20, and 20 will be passed into the function body. So in this case, the returning value will be 20 plus 1, and the output is equal to 21. Try to set another value for the calling of that function. Try to type another value for the parameter called num and see the output. Now it's time to show you how to declare a function or define a function inside another function. We will be defining a function called adding 1 inside the adding function. You can see here the inner function is called adding 1 inside the function called adding. We define that function using the def keyword also, and the returning value for that function is num plus 1. And you can see inside the adding function, but not inside the adding 1 function, total is equal to adding 1, the calling of the adding 1 function, and the value of num as a parameter or as an argument for adding 1 function. This is the calling of the adding 1 function, but in this case, we did that inside another function. And the return statement to return the value of total inside the adding function. And by using this method, if you call the function called adding many times with different values, any value you set, the program will add 1 to it. This function will add 1 to it due to using return num plus 1, and we call that function inside the adding function. So the returning value will be, for example, any number plus 1. Let me show you that. Let's call this function 2 times with different values, 20 and 25. You can see in this case, adding 20, this will return 21 as a result. As you can see, this calling for that function returns 21. 20 is passed into the function body, and the returning value in this case is equal to 20 plus 1, which equals 21. And for the next value, 25, for this argument, this value is passed into the function body. This is the value of num, and in this case the calling of the adding one function inside the adding function will give you 25 plus 1, which is equal to 26. Try with a different number if you wish. Next, I'll show you how to pass a function as an argument to other function. It's very simple and easy. Let's do that. In this example, we created a function called adding, and the returning value from this function back to the caller is equal to num plus 1. This is the expression for the return statement. And the second function is called calling, and the parameter for that function is equal to or is called new func. And look inside the body of that function. You can see new number is equal to 10. We set this variable simply, and the returning value, you can see new func and the new number variable as a parameter for this new func. This is the returning expression in this case. Now, in the function calling called calling, I'll show you how to call that function, and we're gonna use adding as an argument. We are gonna use the adding function as an argument or as a parameter for the calling function. You can see the calling function and its parameter is called adding. The adding function, as you can see, is the argument for the calling function, and if you hit shift enter or shift return to run that cell, you will get 11 because of adding 10 to 1. The value of num in that case is equal to 10, and the returning value will be 10 plus 1. And you can change the value of that variable called new number from 10 to 12, and you will see the output is changed. The output now is equal to 13 due to adding 12 to 1 equals 13, and you can call it many times if you wish. Now our next step is about a function that can generate another function or that can return another function. Returning a function from another function. We have the hello function here. We define that function using the def keyword. The def keyword followed by the name of that function. And look inside that function, inside the body of that function, you will see another function. This function is called greeting function, and the returning value from the greeting function back to the caller is hi there. And the returning value or the returning expression from the hello function is the greeting function. So the result in this case will be hi there, because in this case the returning value from the greeting function from this inner function is the hi there string data type or this message. So if you try to call the function called hello, you will get the hi there message. As you can see here, we called the hello function and we assigned that calling to a variable called newGreet, and call this newGreet here that belongs to the hello function, and you will see hi there. This function will return the greeting function, and the greeting function will return this message hi there, and this is the easiest way to return a function from a function. One of the Python advantages is Python allows a nested function to access the outer scope of the enclosing function simply, and this is called closure. Let's see this in action. In this example here, we created a function called newMessage, and it has a single parameter called text. And inside that function called newMessage, we have a string data type, outer message, followed by the definition of another function. This inner function is called another message. and there is no parameters for that function. And inside the another message function, we have a string data type, our nested message, followed by the print function to print the text that will be passed into the function body from the new message function to another message function. And by calling that function called another message function, you will see this nested function will access the outer scope of that enclosing function called new message. So you will see the text on the screen. You can see we called the outer function in that case new message, and we inserted a value for text, and the another function from inside the new message function, as you can see, will print this text on the screen. Hello, this is a random text message, and the output, as you can see, is hello, this is a random text message, and you can pass any text as a parameter for that function. This value will be passed into the function body called new message, and also the function called another function will access this text. This function can access this text from the outer scope of the new message function, and by calling the another message function inside the scope of the new message function, you will see the output like that. And you can try another text if you wish, and simply this is known as a closure. This is so simple and easy, as you can see. Now this is the time for decorators in Python programming language. We are gonna create a decorator in Python programming language, and after that we are gonna decorate another function using this decorator, but using the regular way. And after seeing the regular way, I'll show you how to use the @ symbol to decorate a function using the @ symbol that concise way. We will be creating a decorator first, and this decorator is called new capital, and it has the new func as a parameter inside the braces of that function, inside the round braces in the function header. And look at inside the body of that function, inside the indented body, you will see another function. This inner function is called new inner, and it has a variable, and for that variable called the func, we assigned the new func parameter as a value for the func variable. And don't forget to put the parentheses or the braces for the new func parameter here. After that, you can see we created another variable, and this variable is called uppercase, and we used the upper function to make a string data type in uppercase to convert the string data type to uppercase. And we separate between this function and the variable name, the func, using the dot notation, the func variable that refers to the new func parameter. And the returning value from this function, from the new inner function back to the caller of that function, is the uppercase to make the string data type in uppercase. And the returning value from the new capital function, is the new inner function. This is the returning value from the new capital function. So simple and so easy, as you can see. After that, we need to create a function, and we will pass it to our decorator function here. We will pass the new function to this decorator function called new capital. Let's see this in action. As you can see, we want to decorate this function called greeting. We define that function, and the returning value from that function back to the caller is hi Python programming. And to decorate that function called greeting function, we will pass that function as a parameter for the new capital function to make the string data type called hi Python programming in uppercase using the uppercase method from inside the new capital function. We want to decorate the greeting function, so create a variable called new decorating, or name it any name you wish, and after that set the calling of that function called new capital as a value for the new decorating, and pass the greeting function as a parameter for the new capital function to be decorated. After that, if you call the new capital function by using the variable name called new decorating, you will see Hi Python programming in uppercase. As you can see, so easy and so simple. The greeting function is decorated simply using this way. You know, there is a concise or a very short way to do that by using the @ symbol instead of using this way. To decorate the greeting function by using the capital function, the new capital function, you can use the @ symbol like that, followed by the name of the function, the decorator, and after that you can define the greeting function like in this example here, and after creating the greeting function with the returning value Hi Python programming, call the function called greeting only, and you will see the greeting function is decorated using this way. So easy and so simple, and you can decorate that function using many functions, using many decorators instead of using single decorator like in this example here. You can see the same previous output Hi Python programming in the uppercase. So easy and so simple. Create the decorator, then you can decorate another function using the @ symbol followed by the name of the decorator function, and the function that we want to decorate, put it after the @ symbol for the decorator function like the greeting function in that case. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. See you again next lesson. List comprehensions in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson we are gonna be discussing list comprehension in Python programming language. What is the list comprehension? List comprehension is a very short way to create a list based on another list or a list you created previously. So if you want to create a list, if you want to create a new list based on the values of an existing list you created previously, you can use the list comprehension method. List comprehensions are efficient, easy to follow, easy to understand, and very simple. It's a concise way. It will save your time. Let me show you that in the next example. Let me show you how to write your code using the regular way and also using the list comprehension way instead of using the regular way, the long regular way. Let's see that. You can see we have a simple example here using the regular way. We created a list called fruits list and follow the rules for naming variables to create a list in Python programming language. And this list has 4 items, as you can see: fig, banana, kiwi, and cherry, all that inside square brackets. This is the main syntax for a list in Python programming language. After that we created another list, an empty list called my list, and we assigned this empty list using square brackets to my list variable to use the name of this variable as a name for this an empty list. After that we created a for loop to iterate over this sequence. For item in fruits list, the item variable will represent each item, will represent the first item inside the fruits list. Then after displaying and representing the first item called fig from the fruits list, item will represent the second item until reaching the last item, which is called cherry. But we have a condition here inside the for loop block, inside the indented body for the for loop, using the conditional if statement. If I in item, the program will append this item that has I inside it to my list, to the new list called my list. to this an empty list. So Fig has I and Kiwi also has I, as you can see. So once printing this my list, after that using the print statement, the print function, you can call it to print out this data on the screen, to print out Fig, then Kiwi, as you can see inside my list, inside this empty list. So this list called my list has 2 items. Also you can change I for anything else, for example E, the item that has E inside it, which is cherry only, that has E inside it, inside this list called fruits list. This is by using the regular way. Now let me show you how to create my list, how to create this new list based on the fruits list using the list comprehension. It's very short and concise. It will save your time. Let me show you that. We are gonna start by using the fruits list, by creating the fruits list to create the new list called my list based on this list using the list comprehension expression. List comprehension consists of brackets containing the expression, square brackets, and inside these square brackets you will see the expression. You can see here, after creating fruits list, Fig, banana, kiwi, and cherry. After that you can see the new list my list is equal to, and we assign the list comprehension to this list or to this name. Item for item in fruits list. Fruits list here. We started using the item variable that will represent the first item, and we started a for loop using the for keyword followed by this item in fruits list we created previously that has 4 items, and you can see the condition on the same line using the conditional if statement, if I in item. That's it only, using this list comprehension method, as you can see inside square brackets. Simply by using this technique, it will give you the same previous result. It will give you Fig and Kiwi inside my list, inside the new list called my list, after printing my list using the print function. You can see this is a very simple example, very concise. As you can see, you can change item for anything else, follow the rules for naming variables, but try to put a meaningful variable. If you try to change item, put for example n for n in fruits list, if I in n, or any character or any variable instead of item if you wish. Now let's change I, for example, to E to display the items that has character or letter E inside them. You can see only cherry that has the character or the letter E inside it, as you can see. So my list has only a single item. After displaying or after hitting shift enter to execute this program, you will see my list has only a single item, cherry, inside single quotes, because this is a string data type here inside this list. Now let's take another example. Let me show you how to use the regular way and also how to use the concise way for the new example that we are gonna take. This time we created another empty list. This empty list is called new list, and we created a for loop to iterate over a sequence of characters, or to iterate over this collection of letters or characters, or this string data type called power of comprehension. And we want to insert all the characters or all the letters from inside this string data type inside a new list called new list. So you can see new list is equal to an empty list followed by this loop using the for loop, followed by new char or new character in power of comprehension. You can see this is our string data type that we want to iterate over it. New char will represent each character, will represent the first character, then the second character, and so on until reaching the last character, which is n for this string data type. And you can see inside the body of the for loop, or inside the indented body of the for loop, we have the append method to add each item or each character, each new character at the end of the list, called new list. So the program will add P, then O, then W, then E, then R, until reaching the last item for this string data type. And after printing new list using the print function, you will see this result here. You will see all the characters one by one. This program simply is used to iterate over this sequence of characters, power of comprehension. Try to replace this string data type and insert any string data type, or you can insert this string data type as a value for a variable, and you can insert the variable name after the in keyword instead of typing the string data type like that. And this is called the regular way. This is the normal way for creating or iterating over sequence and put the result inside another new list. Let me show you how to use the list comprehension to create this program in a concise way. The previous program is the same as this program here. Create this list, and this list is called new list, and we assign the list comprehension to this new list. The list comprehension expression inside the square brackets, in this case, new char that will represent each item or each character in our string data type, new char for new char in power of comprehension. You can see after the in keyword our sequence of characters here inside square brackets. And after that you can use the print function to print new list. You can see this is very short and will save a lot of time. Only a single line of code, then you can print the result. You can print this list to show the output. And if you try to run this program, you will see the same previous output. Exactly the same previous output, as you can see. Sequence of characters, the sequence, power of comprehension, character by character inside square brackets inside this new list. Simply P, then O, then the third item W, and so on until reaching the last item, which is equal to N inside square brackets, and this is called list comprehension. Now let's take another example to clarify that. By using the regular way first, in this program we want to insert 5 matrices inside another matrix, and in this program you can see we created new matrix. This is our first list, our empty list first, then the for loop. The for loop for x in range 5. This will display 5 matrices for 0, for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4. The last item, which is equal to 4, and 5 is not included here. After that you can see we want to append each item inside the new matrix, inside this list called new matrix. So you can see this statement inside the for loop. After that, another for loop for y in range 8 to display this matrix from 0 to 7 5 times, due to using this range for 8 inside the range of 5. This will display this output simply, and the append function inside the body of this for loop also to append y. Y will represent each item inside this inner list. And after that, the print function to print out the new matrix, and you will see this output. The matrix represents numbers from 0 to 7 5 times. 5 matrices inside the biggest matrix, as you can see simply, and between them you can see comma. The program separate between them using comma, as you can see. This is a simple example. This is by using the regular way. Let me show you how to do that using a single line of code with the list comprehension to save your time, to save your precious time. To create the previous program, but in this case by using the list comprehension way, you can see create a list called new matrix and assign the list comprehension expression inside square brackets. This list comprehension expression in this case is y for y in range of 8 inside square brackets, and after that the for loop using the for keyword followed by x in range of 5. This will display a matrix of numbers from 0 to 7 5 times due to using range 5 for 0, for 1, for 2, for 3, and for 4, but 5 is not included here. So the program, as you can see, will display this output. As you can see, the same previous output, exactly the same. You can take a look at this output. You will see 5 copies of this matrix from 0 to 7, and the program separate between them also using comma, all that inside square brackets. That's it, simply. List comprehension is very powerful tool, easy to understand, simple, and will save your time. It's very short, as you can see. Instead of typing many lines, you can only type a single line of code instead of many lines. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next lesson. Like list comprehension, you can use dictionary comprehension also. So what is dictionary comprehension? This is a very short way or a concise way to create a dictionary based on an iterable object or a list or a sequence as an input. Simply you can say that dictionary comprehension is one way or one method or technique to create a dictionary in Python programming language by merging two sets of data which are in the form of either lists or arrays. And this is easy to read and will save a lot of time for you. And you can see the syntax for dictionary comprehension in Python programming language. The dictionary comprehension expression is placed inside curly braces, the formal syntax of a dictionary in Python programming language. In key value pair, first you can see the key value pair followed by the for loop and the formula of key value, and after that the in keyword followed by the iterable object or the list or older sequence. Now let's see all of that in action to clarify that, to make everything clear to understand. First of all, in our first example here, we need to create two lists like that. The first one is called numbers is equal to 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500, all that inside square brackets, and we separate between them using commas, as you can see. After that, another list, students, is equal to Joe, Ronald, Ahmed, Marcelo, and the last one is called Elvis. Based on these two lists or these two iterable objects, numbers and students, we are gonna use the comprehension or the dictionary comprehension. So let's go ahead to do that. In this case, we assign the dictionary comprehension expression or our operation to a variable called newDict, or you can name it any name you wish. Follow the rules for naming variables to name or to give a name for that variable. And look inside the curly braces for the dictionary comprehension. We used curly braces because this is a dictionary comprehension. In Python dictionaries, we set all the items inside curly braces or curly brackets. As you can see, X is our key and its value is Y. X will represent each key and Y will represent each value, and the for loop after that for X and Y. And you can see the zip function. This is our iterable, and its purpose is to map the similar values of multiple containers so that they can be used as a single entity here for this example. And look inside the zip function, you will see numbers and students. Numbers is our keys and students our values here for this example, for this dictionary comprehension. So the X letter or the X character in this example will represent each item for numbers list. X will represent the first item, which is equal to 100, and its value is Joe. The second one is 200 and its value is called Ronald. This is the value of Y, the second value of Y, and so on until reaching the last item 500 and its value is equal to Elvis. And also you can change numbers with students, and in that case X will represent students and Y will represent numbers. Let's change them. You can see now X will represent each item for students list and Y will represent each item from the first item to the last item for numbers. The first key is equal to Joe and its value is equal to 100. Joe is the value of X, the first value for the X variable, and its value is the first value for the Y variable, which is equal to 100. The second value for the X variable is called Ronald in that case, after changing students with numbers, and its value is the value of Y, the second value of Y, which is equal to 200, as you can see, until reaching the last item, which is Elvis. Elvis is the key name, which is represented by X, and its value is equal to 500. And you can change these values. Try to do this by yourself with different values, with different lists. This is a simple example, as you can see, for dictionary comprehension in Python programming language. Single line of code, so simple and so powerful, as you can see. Very short way to create this new dictionary based on two lists here, one for keys and one for values. Now let's see another example. In this example, we created numbers list, and for this code here we used the conditional merging and stores only the square of those numbers from this list existing in the list called numbers, which are divisible by 4. You can see in this case we used the conditional if statement. After creating the numbers list, we created my dictionary, and you can name it any name you wish, and the expression, the key is equal to X, and its value you can see X to the power of 2, to take the square of the variable called X in this case. And after that, the for loop for X in numbers list. This is our iterable object here, and the conditional if statement, if X to the power 2 modulo 4, the remainder of 4 is equal to 0. And in this case you can see the output, the first key is 10 and the square of 10 is equal to 100, and the second one 20 and the square of 20 is equal to 400. That's it, simply, as you can see. Try to do this by yourself with different expression. Thank you so much for watching. Set comprehensions in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. like list comprehensions and dictionary comprehensions in Python programming language. There is something called set comprehension. This is also a very short way or concise way to create a set based on iterable object or based on existing iterable object you created previously. This technique is readable, easy to read, easy to understand, and also you can build it on a single line of code and will save your precious time. And you can see the syntax for the set comprehensions in Python programming language. All the set comprehension code inside curly braces. This is a formal syntax for a set in Python. All the items set inside curly braces. And you can see the expression for a variable comes first, followed by the for loop using the for keyword, and after that variable in the in keyword, and after that the iterable object or the input set. And you can set conditional if statement after that also using the if keyword if you want. If you need to do that, if the condition of the conditional if statement is true, the program will execute everything related to this set comprehension. Let me show you that by real examples. Let's go ahead to see this in action. You can see first of all we need to create a list of numbers 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500, all that inside square brackets. 5 items of ints or integer numbers data type. We assign this list to the special name numbers. After that you can see we created our set comprehension process. Inside curly braces for that set we inserted the set comprehension. S for S, this is our variable name is S, and you can name it any name you wish. You can name it item or I or N or any valid name you wish. S for S in numbers to display those numbers from inside the numbers iterable object or this list we created previously. We assign this operation to a variable called new set using a single equal sign. This is a simple example without using conditional if statement. After that you need to use a print function to print out the new set or the set you created for this set comprehension operation. S for S in numbers in this iterable object, and you can see all the items from the numbers list are placed inside a set using this set comprehension operation. So concise and easy to read, as you can see on a single line of code. We created a set based on this list we created previously. This is very short. Now let's take another example also based on the numbers list. Assume we want to print out the square of those numbers inside a new set. So let's do that. In this example we have new set is equal to curly braces, and inside these curly braces s to the power of 2. This is our expression here, and the for loop for s, the name of the variable, and the in keyword, and after that the iterable object which we created previously called numbers, this list called numbers, to display the square of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. And you can see this in the output. You can see the output is the result from 100 to the power of 2. The second item is the result of 200 to the power of 2 until reaching the last item, which is the result of using 500 to the power of 2. This is inside a new set. As you can see, all the new items inside curly braces. This is by using the set comprehension operation using a single line of code. You can see inside curly braces to create a new set based on older sequence or older collection we created previously. Let's try another one, but in this case by using the range function to generate sequence of numbers instead of using a list like numbers in this case. In this example here, you can see curly braces n to the power of 2. This is the expression, and the for loop after that for n, the variable name, in range 8 to display the square of numbers from 0 to 7, but 8 is not included here. This is the range function. The range function for this operation here will start from 0 to 7. So 0 to the power of 2 is equal to 0, 1 to the power of 2 is equal to 1, 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 4, until reaching the last item due to using the range function, which is 7. 7 to the power of 2 is equal to 49. This is the last item inside our set. As you can see, this is so easy. Try to create a variable and set this operation to this variable you created, and try to use the print function to print out the result, and also try to use different range, for example 10 or 11 or any number instead of 8. Now it's time to use the conditional if statement inside the expression or inside the set comprehension. Let's use the conditional if statement with a condition, and if this condition is true, the program will display the item. Create a list first called numbers, and it has 5 items of integers from 1 to 5, all that inside square brackets, the main syntax of a list in Python programming language. We are gonna create a set based on this iterable object called numbers. New set, the name of our set, is equal to, and look inside the curly braces of this set or this set comprehension operation here. S, the variable name for S in numbers. For the variable name also, the n keyword after that, followed by the name of the iterable object we created previously called numbers. And look at the conditional if statement here using the if statement or the if keyword followed by the condition. If this condition is true for the first item, the program will display the first item. Then the program will go to the second item, then the third item, then the fourth item, until reaching the last item, which is equal to 5. So for any item from inside the numbers list, if this condition is true, the program will display this item inside a set. Now we need to print out the result. We need to print out the new set to show the output inside the new set. And you can see the output here after hitting Shift Enter or Shift Return to run print new set, the print function, then the variable name inside the braces of the print function. You can see 1, 3, and 5. And also you can change the condition if you want. For example, you can change the condition like that: S modulo 2 is equal to 0 to display only even numbers from inside the numbers list inside new set. And you can see the output here: 2 and 4 only from inside the numbers list are even numbers. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. Tuple comprehension in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson about tuple comprehension. Like list comprehension, dictionary comprehension, and set comprehension in Python programming language, also there is something called tuple comprehension. And the tuple comprehension is a concise way to create a tuple based on a iterable object created previously. You can create a tuple based on another tuple or based on an iterable object or a sequence using the tuple comprehension. And this is readable, easy to read and easy to understand, and will save your precious time also, like the previous comprehension methods, also for lists, for sets, and for dictionaries. But in this case, for the tuple comprehension, we use the generator expression to do that by using the tuple method, and you can see the syntax here inside the parentheses of the tuple method. You can see var for var. You can name this variable name any valid name you wish instead of using var. This is, for example, this is the syntax for the tuple comprehension using the generator expression. Var followed by the for keyword for the for loop, and after that the name for this variable, and the in keyword after that, and the iterable object after the in keyword. And you can set a condition if you wish. You can set a conditional if statement with its test expression, and you can do that. Let's go ahead to take simple examples to show that in action. You can create a tuple and you can assign that tuple to a variable. Then you can use the name of that variable inside the expression or inside the generator expression or the tuple comprehension method. But in this example, we used the tuple for numbers from 1 to 4 directly after the in keyword, instead of creating a tuple and setting that tuple to a variable or assigning that tuple to a variable. Then you can use the name of that variable after the in keyword here. You can see we created a variable, new tuple is equal to tuple, the tuple method to create a tuple based on iterable object we created after the in keyword here. You can create it previously before that, the tuple method, and inside the braces of the tuple method, n for n, you can name this variable any valid name you wish, and after that the iterable object, this tuple of 4 items of integers from 1 to 4. This is so easy, as you can see, and you can set a condition using the conditional if statement after the in keyword here, and the print function to print out the new tuple. This special name refers to or belongs to the tuple or the tuple comprehension here in this example. And you can see the output is 1, 2, 3, and 4, the new tuple based on the tuple we created previously after the in keyword. Let's take another example. We are gonna create a list of 7 items. Then we are gonna use this list to create a tuple using the tuple comprehension to display the even numbers from this list called numbers. Let me show you that in action. You need to create a list of numbers first, of 7 numbers from 1 to 7, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, separate between them using comma. The main syntax of a list in Python inside square brackets, and after that we need to set our tuple comprehension or this generator comprehension to another variable called new tuple, and you can name it any valid name or any meaningful name you wish. The tuple method, and look inside the parentheses or inside the braces of the tuple method, you will see t, our variable name. You can give any name you wish, for example item, for example var, t for t in numbers. After the in keyword you will see numbers, the name of our list, followed by the conditional if statement here. The conditional if comes after the numbers or the iterable name here, our input. The conditional if statement and its test expression is t modulo 2 is equal to 0. When this condition is true, the program will display this item. So for the first item, t will represent the first item. This is not an even number, so the program will not display this number or this item inside the new tuple. Then 2 is an even number, so the program will display 2. then 4, then 6. 2, 4, and 6 are even numbers from inside the numbers list. This is a simple and easy way, you can see, concise way using a single line of code to create a tuple based on a list or based on an iterable object you created previously. You can see. And the print function to display the output of the new tuple or the variable name you created, the variable name that belongs to the expression or the tuple comprehension. And simply you can see the final output for this operation. 2, 4, 6, the even numbers from the numbers list are inserted inside the round braces. This is the tuple here we created using the tuple comprehension. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you again next lesson. Building a logger in Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. Logging in Python programming language. If you want to track all the events that happen when any Python program runs, use the logging module from the Python library to track all the events when any Python program executes. It's very important for developing, debugging, and running Python program. Using logging in general in any software is very important to know the cause of any error or any problem inside the program. If you want to easily detect the cause of any problem, you have to put a logger for your program. And in this section I will show you how to build a logger in Python programming language so you can easily determine the cause of the problem or error for any Python program. You can import the module called logging using the import statement at the beginning of the program to use that module to create a logger in Python programming language. And also you should know that there are built-in levels of the log message in Python programming language. The first level is called debug, and the debug message or the debug level is used to give detailed information, typically of interest only when diagnosing problems or errors. Also, the second level is called info, and this level is used to confirm that things are working as expected, no errors. It's normal information. The third level is called warning, and this warning level is used an indication that something unexpected happened. The next one is the error message or the error level, and the error level or the error message is used to tell you there is a serious problem or a serious error and the program has not been able to perform some function or some code. There is an error inside your program. The last one is called critical. Critical is used to tell you there is a serious error here, indicating that the program or the software itself may be unable to continue running or executing. There is a serious problem inside your program, so the program will be stopped. Now let's see this in action. Let's create a logger in Python programming language by using the module called logging. We are gonna import that module first using the import statement, and after that we will create our simple logger as an example for this section. At the beginning you must import the logging module from the Python library. You can import it using the import statement, exactly as you can see, the import statement or the import keyword followed by the name of that module logging. And after that you can hit shift enter or shift return to start building our logger. For building this logger, our first step is creating and configuring that logger using the name of the module followed by the dot notation followed by a function called basic config. And this function can have several parameters exactly as you can see. We passed the name of the file. We want to store our information inside the file called main, and don't forget to put the extension for the logging file. Any logging file ends with this extension .log, the name of the file followed by the dot notation followed by the extension refers to the logging file, and this will be inside the current working directory. So if you want to put it inside another location, try to put the location before the file name. After setting the output file called main, we determine the format of the output message, and this will represent the date and time, also the message after that for each logging message. And the file mode is equal to W for writing to this file as you can see. And by default the file works in the append mode, but in this case we changed it to W to write to this file. We want to write to this logging file to see what will happen here. And the next step is creating an object or a variable called new logger, and we are gonna place logging.getLogger, and this getLogger function is used to return a reference to logger instance with the specified name if it's provided or root if not. You can see new logger is equal to logging.getLogger. It's very important. The next step is the level of the logger. The level of the logger can be set, which simply acts as the threshold for tracking based on the numeric values assigned to each level for our message levels or our logging levels. For example, the numeric value for the debugging level is equal to 10, for info level is equal to 20, for warning level is equal to 30, and the numeric value for the error level is equal to 40, and the last one for the critical level is equal to 50. That's it about numeric values. And you can see in this example, for the new logger, for this object, we set the level of this logging. We set this threshold to debug, logging.debug. As you can see, the level in this case, the level is debug inside the parentheses or the braces of the set level function. Finally, we need to set the testing messages for that logger. We need to use the debug function, the info function, the warning function, and the error function to create these messages or to set these messages inside the file called main, the logging file, or inside our logger. You can see new logger, the name of the object followed by the dot notation followed by the debug function, and the string data type or the message inside the debug function is this is a harmless debug message. String data type inside the round braces of the debug function. The next one is the info function about information message. You can see this string data type or this message information message inside the round braces. The next one is warning. A warning message is our string or our message in that case. The next one is the error message. By using the error function, you can see after the new logger the object name followed by the dot notation, you can see the error function, and inside the round braces of that function you can see the message for error. This is an error message simply. And the last one is the critical message. A critical message using the critical function. This is the last level we have here. And the message for this level for the critical function here is no internet is down now. Now if you hit shift enter or shift return or run this program, you will see all these messages inside the main logging file inside the current working directory simply. And before each message you will see date and time for that message simply, exactly as you can see. That's all for this lesson. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks so much for watching. Building a calendar using the Python programming language. Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson. There is a module in Python programming language called calendar. This is a built-in module. You can import it by using the import statement. The import statement followed by the name of that module. You must import it first to work with the functions of this calendar module. And this module is used to handle operations related to the calendar easily and simply. There are many functionalities offered by the calendar module from the Python library. Let's see this in action. To work with the calendar module, you must import it first, as we said beforehand, using the import statement and run the cell after that. Import calendar, then run the cell. Now we want to build an example to get the calendar for the month. For that, you can use the month built-in function from the calendar module. You can get a calendar format value for the entire month for the specified year by using the month function from the calendar module. As in this example here, we created two variables. The first one is called year. This is our specified year. The specified year in this case is 2021 and the month is equal to 9. This is our month, and we want to use the calendar module. Look at inside the print function. Inside the braces of the print function, you will see the name of the calendar module followed by the dot notation, and after that we used the month built-in function from that calendar module. You have to access this month built-in function from the calendar module and look at inside the parentheses or the braces of the month built-in function. You will see it has two parameters. The first parameter is the year. Our specified year here is 2021. You can set that year to a variable like in this case, or you can put 2021 directly inside the parentheses or the braces of the month built-in function. And the second one is the month. The specified month here is 9. In other words, you can say our specified month is September in this case. And simply you can see by running this program, you see this output, the full calendar for this month, for September in 2021. That's it, so easy and so simple. Also, you can get a calendar of a month by using an HTML document code. Simply, like this example here, we created a variable and the value for that variable is the HTML calendar function from the calendar module by using the syntax calendar.html calendar, and first weekday is equal to 0. This is the parameter of the HTML calendar in this case. The HTML calendar is a built-in function from the calendar module, and this function is used to enable us to have instances of HTML calendar code simply, and the print function after that to print out new calendar dot format month, and this is our format here, 2021 8. This is our month, and with year is equal to true. To use the HTML calendar function for a particular month, you need to combine it with the format month function, built-in function from the calendar module, to get the HTML code for that calendar for that specified month, August, or the month is equal to 8 in this case, easily and simply. And you can see the output for this operation, our full HTML code here, our full HTML document as an output for this program. That's it, so easy and so simple. Now we want to create another program to check the leap year for specified years. By using the leap days function, this built-in function from the calendar module, you can get the total number of leap days between these 2 years, 2016 and 2020. And also there is a function called sleep function. You can check if a particular year is leap or not by using this built-in function from the calendar module. This function is very useful. We used that function for 2002 and 2005. In this case, we created a variable called x and we assigned calendar.leapdays, and it has 2 parameters for the leap days function, 2016 and 2020. We want to get the number of leap days between these 2 years here. After that, we created another variable called y and we assigned calendar.isLeap for 2002 or 2002 to this variable called y. From the calendar module, we used the isLeap function to check if this year is leap or not, and this year is not a leap year. And also 2005 or 2005 is not a leap year, so you will get false, then false, a boolean value as an output. By printing out x, y and z, you will see the output for x is equal to 1. This function called leapdays function will give you 1, and that means there is one day. There is one day that was encountered between these 2 years, between 2016 and 2020. That's it, easily. And the next output is false. 2002 or 2002 is not a leap year, so we got false in this case, and the same thing for 2005. We got false after printing the variable z. That's it, so simple and so easy as you can see. Our next program is getting the full calendar for the specified year. For this example, our year is 2021, and in this case we will use the calendar function from the calendar module for that year to get the full calendar or the complete calendar for that year, using this method or this function simply. The calendar function is a built-in function from the calendar module, and it will give you the calendar for the specified year you want. The first step in this program is a variable name called year is equal to 2021. Try another year if you wish, and after that the print function to print out the output for this operation, calendar.calendar, and the parameter for the calendar function is the year, so 2021 will be passed into the parentheses of the calendar function to get the full calendar for 2021 using this method. So easy and so simple, and you can see the full calendar here in the output. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for watching.